people start coming up in, we can start digging into the actual topic as well too. And I know no taxation. I don't know if you want to go ahead and go ahead and we can lead it off because I know fast approaching, man. Time really does fly. Fast approaching is that actual reparation rally. So that's coming up. That'll be what next Sunday. So for everybody that's going, it's good to see those who's going to be going. Go ahead and give it a shout out, guys. Tweet out the information. I need to go ahead and put that up in the jumbotron as well too. So when DJ or Professor comes in, or if I get it again, I'll go ahead and I'll put it up in the jumbotron. I need to check my bookmarks to see if I have it. If so, I will go ahead and post it up in the jumbotron for everybody coming up in the space as well too. So, like I said, we're going to be discussing that tonight, guys. We're gonna, three topics that we want to touch up on, and feel free to go between those three topics. We're not going to try to stray. So let me give a shout out once again to any and everybody who will be attending the Juneteenth reparation rally. I know Rella was up in here, but I know Rella she'll be one that's going to be attending as well too. So anybody that's going to be coming up in there, feel free to drop a comment in the comment section and let us know. Hey, what's going on, Nat? I see you didn't change your profile on YouTube. Now we had Nat. Now we got now the other night you would when we had the tether space. You was tethered. Now you're that guy. What's going on with you, man? I see you constantly changing it up on me. So we gotta keep that profile now. I can only identify you by the picture, but we keep changing the names up on me, man. I'm gonna forget who you are. So yeah, guys, like I said, I want to go ahead and let a few more people roll up in here, and we're gonna go ahead and get this thing rolling. I know some of you guys, and I didn't catch it. I did tweet it out, but I didn't get a chance to fully read that article. I saw something about the Supreme Court stepping in Alabama about the actual voting and everything that's going on down there with trying to gerrymander like they do here in Florida as well too. So that'll be an interesting discussion this one night as well too. So a lot of different things happening in the news cycle as always, guys. So once again, glad to have y'all up in the space. Shout out, shout out to you, Rob. I see you up in here as well too. So shout out to you, Monsoon. Shout out to you as well too. So we'll go ahead and get this thing rolling in just a second. Just a second. Gene, I'm gonna have you come up here and speak early as well too, because I want you to go ahead and touch up on the actual with the reparation rally next Sunday. I want you to go ahead and touch up on it and roll it. Also, if you're not busy, I know that you be preoccupied, but you can go ahead and get a chance too. So, Gene, you can come up here as a speaker as well too, and go ahead and just let people know the final touches of what's going to be going down, what's going to be happening as well too in DC next weekend. So that's Father Day weekend, Juneteenth weekend. Guys, make sure you come on out and support. If you can't be there, support. Uh, Maybe a no taxation and Rella let you know exactly what you can do, maybe virtual in terms of supporting the actual rally as well too. So Rella Jean, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go ahead and touch up on this. Rella, I see you coming up here, so let me go ahead and approve you. What's going on, Rella?
Hey, Newstoter. Hey, everybody in the space. The space is kind of, I don't know why it was glitching. It kicked me out. But, I mean, for all good things, of course, there's always going to be some issues.
Yeah, well, you know how these spaces are.
Yes, but I know it'll definitely be a great space. It was a great space last night. So hopefully no taxation could come on up and then I already DM'd some other folks too to come on in, and then we can get started.
Yeah, absolutely. Because like I said, I know people they want to actually hear about it as well too. So that's why I want to go ahead and get the actual. Okay, Nat, I see you switched it back up for me. So I definitely want to get the people that's associated with the actual Juneteenth um, reparation rally. I want to get them up here and let them speak as well too. So definitely, Professor, what's going on tonight? Carlos, what's up?
What's up, family? I see Sister Willa up in this house. And there's Sister No Taxation there. Carlos.
Lisa. Hey, Professor.
What's up, baby? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Hey, it's getting one more day to Friday.
Oh, no.
I'm ready to hear about everything with the Juneteenth rally, and I know you got something you're going to be sharing about the what is the tickets for the tour, right?
Yes.
Okay.
What tour?
So I am hosting the One Love tour. My tour is Our Story Tours and Travel Company. We are working with KB Tours Company here in DC, and it should be really fun. A lot of people, I guess, when I post the tickets, I don't know if people, assume kind of like, it's just advertisement, but it's really the tickets for the tour. So there are 24 spaces open, and we can get into more of the details a little later. But I posted the Eventbrite, and I need to. Right now, I'm trying to get the GoFundMe for the rally, but I want to make sure that Gene wants me to post it or not. And I guess we can go from there. And of course, there we'll be hosting another spaces on Friday for the event down in Texas. So there's a lot of Juneteenth events happening, Juneteenth weekend, and honoring Father's Day. So I'm excited. I'm really, really excited.
Okay, I'm glad, Rella, you're gonna have the kids. You're gonna have your kids there as well to the family. They're gonna all be attending.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a good thing. All right, guys. I guess we'll go ahead and we're gonna start. We're gonna touch up on this Jamie Foxx situation that's been going on. You've been seeing a lot of news with Jamie Foxx in the news lately. We really don't know exactly what's going on. You hear different reports. We hear family members saying that he's been home for a while. He's out playing ball, and you hear other reports from the guy that was on the podcast that was on Dr. Drew's show talking about how bad a shape that Jamie Foxx was in. Well, Jamie Foxx representatives have spoken up, and they've said everything that you've been hearing is unsubstantiated. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share that real quick as well too. So we don't one way or another. We wish that Jamie Foxx. We wish him a speedy recovery. We hope everything is okay for him. Jamie Foxx is a rare talent. He's one of those people that can do it all. He can act, he can sing, he can do serious acting as well as the comedy as well too. So he is one of the most versatile entertainers in the world. He's one of the most versatile entertainers we've seen in the past probably 30, 40 years. So you have to give credit where credit's due. He's immensely talented, and I just wish the best for Jamie Foxx. Been watching him a long time, from the time he was on The Living Color. And for those that can remember when he was on Rock as well, too, his Crazy George. So, just wishing Jamie Foxx a speedy recovery. We don't know what's going on. And I don't want to, go ahead and say one thing, and I don't know for certain, because it seems like really nobody knows for certain. Everybody's just speculating at this point in time. And, the family and the family's rightfully so, that, they're trying to protect him and you just make sure everything's okay with him. So, I don't fault the family for that. That it's their business. They have a right to be private about what's going on. Who knows? Jamie may not want the entire world to know his health situation as well, too. But I want to go ahead and touch up on this article from NBC News. It's up in the Jumbotron on the far right-hand side. It's up on YouTube as well in the actual description, curator on Newstoter.com platform. It's titled "An Unsubstantiated Claim That Jamie Foxx Was Hospitalized After COVID Vaccination Is Going Viral on Social Media." A claim that Academy Award winner Jamie Foxx was hospitalized after he was seriously injured by a COVID vaccine has gone massively viral, having been viewed millions of times on social media. A representative for Fox said the claim is untrue, but that hasn't stopped the claim from being absorbed and amplified in an anti-vaccination echo chamber on YouTube and Twitter. Kind of crazy that one of the titles for the night is talking about Black Twitter trolls, and we're talking about the echo chambers on YouTube and Twitter. The unsubstantiated claim is part of a continued push among some far-right personalities to cast doubt on the safety of vaccines, even though the studies and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention have affirmed the vaccines are safe and effective. The claim about Fox was first made by a gossip columnist on the online talk show Ask Dr. Drew. AJ Benza, a podcaster who formerly worked for the New York Daily News told Dr. Drew on his program on May 30 that Fox was left partially paralyzed and blind after he received a COVID vaccine. Benza alleged that Fox was forced to get a vaccine while working on the film. He claimed he had a source in the room with Fox and that the performer developed a blood clot, which led to a stroke after he got vaccinated. Uh, Pinsky didn't challenge the claim. Benza didn't name the source either. He didn't immediately respond to a request for comment. Fox representatives said in an email that the claim is completely inaccurate. Although Fox was hospitalized for undisclosed illness in April, his daughter, Kareem Fox, said in the Instagram story post that he had been home for weeks and was well enough to play pickleball. Still, that hasn't stopped the claim from running rampant on social media. Far right commentators like Candace Owens amplified it on her YouTube based podcast, where she has 1.67 million subscribers, insinuating that Ben's statement must be true because Fox family didn't outright condemn it. A clip of Owens' YouTube page of discussing Fox's condition had more than 180,000 views Wednesday. Their silence seems as though there's some veracity to this claim, Owens said in her YouTube video, which was posted Tuesday. We're all holding our breath to see whether or not Jamie Foxx speaks out. Owens didn't immediately respond to a request for comment. Beyond commenters like Owens, dozens of tweets with hundreds and sometimes thousands of likes shared the assertion that Fox has suffered a serious medical condition from the vaccine, along with other anti-vaccination sentiments. A spokesperson for Twitter didn't immediately respond to the request for comment. Charlie Clerk, the founder of the conservative organization Talking Points USA, tweeted that he was infuriated a decent person like Jamie Foxx fell victim to Big Pharma. And actor Kevin Sorbo, for anybody remembers, he played on the TV show back in the 90s, Hercules, shared an article repeating the unsubstantiated claim that Fox had been injured by the vaccine to his 1.6 million followers. He said he was praying for Fox. In a statement to NBC News, Andrew Clovet, a spokesperson for Kirk, said in part that Kirk shared the article so readers could check it out for themselves. If there were any inaccuracies with Benz's reporting, or if the family disagrees with the description of the facts, those are the questions that should be directed to Mr. Benza, he said. Representative Sorbo didn't immediately respond for requests for comments on YouTube videos with hundreds of thousands of views echoed by Benza's claim with titles like News, Jamie Foxx left paralyzed and blind from blood clot in his brain after receiving the shot, and Jamie Foxx left paralyzed and blind from blood clot in his brain after vaccine. A spokesperson for YouTube didn't immediately comment. So yeah, we're hearing all kind of things about Jamie Foxx. We're hearing one thing from people that's not related to him. We're hearing things from people who can't source up and say exactly what's going on. We're hearing things from people saying that they were in they had a source in the room. They won't name who their source was, but they had a person up in the room that when Jamie Foxx was told to go ahead and get this vaccination. So there's really no hardcore proof right now exactly what's going on with Jamie Foxx, but we have a lot of people, and we've seen it lately. It's been running rampant on Twitter, YouTube as well too. Everybody sitting up here. I saw a post saying the exact same thing, that Jamie Foxx was blind and this and that, and I believe it was also Dr. Drew who's holding spaces on Twitter at times. I believe he had a space last week on that very issue talking about Jamie Foxx's health as well too. So nothing at this point has been substantiated by the family, the ones closest to him. I have absolutely no idea how Jamie Foxx is doing. I would imagine that it must be serious because we haven't I know Jamie Foxx is filming a movie, and next thing you know, we heard that he was in the hospital, and we really haven't heard much about it, for a fact. So I can't really say exactly what's going on with Jamie Foxx. Like I said, I do wish him the best. Professor, have you been seeing some of those articles and stuff online as well too, YouTube videos and everything else talking about Jamie Foxx? Like, I mean, they almost was putting him in his deathbed, how they were talking about him and stuff like that. And I'm like, damn, Jamie, I hope Jamie's okay, man. But I know I'm not the only one that's seen some of this stuff because it's floating around right here on Twitter as well too.
Yeah, it's been all over social media about he was dying and that he's blind, and it's just all kinds of stuff out there. It's like, and I think to be honest with you, it's really these white supremacists out here that want this man out the way anyway. He dates Katie Holmes, which is one of the I guess you could say the star superstar white women in Hollywood. A lot of people don't know that. Katie Holmes left
Tom Cruise, yeah.
To go be with Jamie Foxx. So you already know white supremacy. You can't stand Jamie Foxx behind that deal. But the thing that I think made me understand that this was just a lot of rumors and people just want this man out the way for real because he's one of the top stars in Hollywood. I think his daughter had put something out there that her dad was doing okay, that he was going through recovery, and that's all I want to hear. It's just that this brother is recovering, and we'll soon have him back to where he is supposed to be, which is making some great movies, like Django, Steppin'. We want to see some stuff like that, So shout out to Jamie Foxx and shout out to his family. I hope he's doing okay. Praying for his family. But yes, I think it's white supremacy involved in a lot of this stuff being put out there.
You made some good points, Professor. And I forgot I didn't know he still went with the Katie Holmes girl, but I know a lot of people were pissed off because him and Tom Cruise was also supposed to be good buddies. And they felt like, he went behind Tom Cruise back, I guess, and got his ex-woman or whatever and hooked up with her. So a lot of people felt a certain way about that as well. But here's my take on it as well, too, Professor.
You gotta just be honest about it, man. Katie Holmes finally wanted some black snake. There you go.
Hey, but here's my take on it too, Professor. You see a lot of the right wingers are really, tying the whole and they're using him too with the whole vaccination thing too. So I think what you're saying too has some real legitimacy because anytime you got a black dude and a white chick, that's gonna that's gonna be an issue. But another thing as well too is that you still have a lot of people that in that anti-vaccination crowd, and with the fact that Jamie Foxx, and this can't even be substantiated, but they want to go ahead and they want to tie and they want to say, well, you see what happens when you get that shot, then this is what that can happen to you. We know Jamie Foxx is in tip-top physical condition, at least from the outside. We don't know his actual, his medical history, but just looking at Jamie Foxx, he always stayed in tip-top physical condition as well. So, a lot of people are sitting here saying that, hey, well, they forced a vaccination on Jamie Foxx, and now Jamie Foxx is basically, he's in this type of shape because of that vaccination. And I'm not telling anybody one way or another to get the vaccination or not, but this seems to be the central focus behind the whole Jamie Foxx thing is that, hey, if he's okay, fine. If he's not okay, fine. But hey, he got that vaccine, and this is why they talk about partially paralyzed and blind, and people talk about blood clots and this and that or whatever. And then, oh yeah, well, let's go ahead and link it to the vaccination. I have no idea whether he got vaccination. I don't know if he had some kind of reaction to it, if he did get it or whatever. I don't know if that's part of what any condition he has right now. And the point of the matter is nobody else knows, but you have people like Candace Owens and you have other people and stuff as well too pushing it, and they don't have any concrete evidence that that's the point, So until you can actually verify it, nobody knows one way or another if it happened or it didn't happen. But you're sitting up here just spreading shit. Excuse my language. You're sitting up here spreading stuff. You have no concrete evidence. You don't know. And you're sitting up here because that's part of your political agenda. Okay. You want to use this man for your political agenda. You want to go ahead and use him to prove a point. Not that you care about him, not that you care about people, but you want to go ahead and use him for your political agenda. We don't know. Maybe it may have had something to do with him. Maybe it hasn't, but let's at least wait till we get some facts and everything else, because I'm sure if it actually did have something to do with this man's health, I don't think his family members, for the most part, would sit up there, and would try to hide it. At least I don't think so. So let me go ahead. We got some hands up in the room. Let me go ahead and get to, I'm not sure. Rella, you might have had your hand up. You, Aunt Lai, and Will. So go ahead, Rella.
Aunt Lai had hers up first.
Okay. Aunt Lai, I'm sorry about that. Go ahead, Aunt Lai. How you doing tonight?
How y'all doing? Peace, black power, and reparations. I just want to say, in regards to the Jamie Foxx situation, I consider myself not a Jamie Foxx fan. I'm an Eric Bishop fan. I remember reading about his story since I was younger, and how he came to Hollywood, and how his when he was paying his he was paying for his car insurance. He was giving the money to his grandmother. His grandmother was taking the money and saving it. So when he got in trouble, she sent him the money that he had already paid. Like, when I tell you from the bottom of my heart, I love Jamie Foxx. Well, Eric Bishop. But I want to say in regards to the vaccine, in regards to the conspiracy theories and things like that, the issue that I have with it is the fact that if it is the vaccine, Hollywood, it's a machine. The powers that be don't want it to be that it's the vaccine if it is the vaccine, because he is a machine. What we have to understand about these actors, especially ones who do the stunts, they have life insurance policies and they have to have physicals. They have it in their contract that, they got stunt dummies. They don't do certain things, but they have to be in physical top shape, and they are insured. Like even Tina Turner legs was insured for $3 million. So the fog is killing me. So we know that as an actor, especially when you're a physical actor, you're doing this stunts and all that, you have to have, your physicals and things like that. What I want the people to realize, because I don't consider myself an anti-vaxxer. I consider myself a realist, and I know what the government has done and is continually doing. And I noticed that there are a number of people, especially athletes, and a lot of athletes are forced to take the shot, and a lot of people are dropping on the field, unexpectedly, and a lot of these things are side effects to the shot, and nobody really know what the side effect is, because it takes years to study. It takes 20 to 30 years to say what is the long-term effects of certain things, and it's unfortunate. And like somebody was saying, like, I think that Jamie Foxx would do a video and say something to his fans and let them know that he's okay if he could possibly do a video. I don't know if that's be the case or not. Like, I know him, I love him, but I don't know him if he would do that. But it's very, very concerning, and I think people need to use their deductive reasoning. This is where common sense come into play, and this is the thing that is unfortunate. A lot of people ain't got it. And you just have to use your own facts, because we already know the CDC and the government don't want to tell us certain things. They're not telling us that they're making food that kill us. They're not telling us they're putting chemicals in there. Half the food that's in the United States is banned in other countries. So the stuff that they're doing to us, they are harming us and killing us for population control. RZA just did a video about what their population control is. So if it is the vaccine and people are leaking it, I feel like that is good that people are leaking it, because there's no way Jamie Foxx is going to come out and say that. Because at the end of the day, he's beholden to the corporations, the studios that back him, and things like that. If it's leaking, I just think like people need to use their deductive reasoning. When you have people who are seen to be, even though they're in their 50s, the new 50 is the new 20. These especially black don't crack. You have black people who appear to be in tip-top shape, and they're having health issues. And again, we don't know what the health issue is. We're just getting speculation. He released from the hospital, then she's saying he was playing pickleball. We don't know. Ain't no video been released. Ain't no nothing. I'ma just say I pray that he gets better. I pray for his well-being, but I kind of think that it has something to do with the vaccine, but we'll never know the truth, because they're not going to let it out that it was the vaccine that led to his illness, because they don't want people to know. They cover stuff up, but a lot of people are having these same health issues. It don't take a rocket science to put two and two together. Like, my girlfriend took the vaccine, and she's having heart issues right now. And she's had to go get stents and had to get a study. Then there was something coming out about people who take the vaccine with a heart issue. And she was like, oh, you think that's it? I'm like, well, shit, I ain't no rocket science, but I mean, you ain't had no heart issues before. You just turned 40 in July of last year. You don't have no issues. Now all of a sudden you got heart issues, you got to get it, and you took the vaccine. So again, I'm not saying it was because of the vaccine, but I ain't no idiot. At the end of the day, you ain't got to tell me. I see things for what it is. And we're expecting the government to tell us that the vaccine is killing people, and they've been leaking videos about them saying the side effects and things like that. They're not going to tell us the truth. The only thing we can do is pray, hope that he get better, and really think, like, damn, if you think that Hollywood wouldn't make people get the vaccine and not know the side effects of it, like, this is a young man, his life is affected for his career. And it was a point in time where they wouldn't, like, I love me some Ice Cube. I give a shout out to him for not taking the shot, for knowing the forest before the trees. Not everybody uses the common sense. Some people think the dollar. And the way side effects work, they don't affect everybody. Like, you can have something, the side effect of this is you may not get it. It may not affect you, but it does affect certain people. So when we have to start seeing people who got the vaccine, certain issues are only happening to them. I mean, again, science is not my thing, but I ain't no idiot. If people who've never got the shot don't have these side effects, but people who have got the shot are having these issues and they're all the same issues, I mean, if it walk like a duck and quack like a duck, I just pray for his speedy recovery. And with that, I'll land my plane.
Total.
Yeah.
Jamie Foxx video is up in the Jumbotron family. He actually made a short video, just a short video. Go up there into the Jumbotron family. You'll see it. I just posted it about 2 minutes ago from YouTube. He made a short video basically saying that he was okay. So you can watch it for yourself, but it's short. It's from YouTube.
Okay, Professor. You know when they put when that video came out, is that something that just came out the other day or something?
Let me check here. Let me see.
Yeah, because that'd be interesting. Because I know this article just came out yesterday or the day before, so it's kind of interesting. That he and Rel, I'm gonna get to you.
I guess
When you said it came out, Professor?
9 days.
Oh, 9 days ago. Okay.
So everybody getting the Jumbotron, you can see his short video. He seems to be doing fine based on the video.
No, you have to watch the video and listen to how he's struggling to talk. That is somebody who probably is recovering from COVID or something congestive. And I'm gonna say this because I know it's gonna be repetitive.
Rella, did it sound like he had a stroke or anything?
No, he sound stroke. I think stroke victims tend to still have something lingering. They're a little slower to speech as they're recovering. And everyone is different when it comes to recovering from strokes, and you can actually Google it. But I want to say this, Newstoter. My mother got the vaccine, and then she had her hernia stroke. And I'm a caution because I know this is going to probably be triggering. So please, be well. Mental health is, our first and foremost up in here. But I want to say this to this lens and what Lai was saying. We won't really know what has happened truly to Jamie Foxx because there's so many different dynamics at play. You have the white media playing off of, oh, well, he's fine, see, there's nothing wrong. We don't want to cause, hysteria because his name holds weight when it comes to him being an actor and being in the Black community. People know Jamie Foxx, his name, his work, right? The other thing, though, you see white media when it comes to more Democratic-leaning, independent-leaning folks try to smooth things out because they don't want people to start yelling and screaming about, well, why aren't there any documentation, mass research about the vaccine as it has been out, as long as it's been out, even though we've seen countless stories about the vaccine and why the medical community decided not to record every case for people who caught the COVID who did not get the vaccine or people who caught COVID after they got the vaccine. I remember in the hospital being told by the nurses when my mom was in the hospital that they were under directive by the hospital that they do not record people who have caught COVID by way of the vaccine. That is, they were not taking any type of, they were not reporting it back to the CDC. That was a directive given, and I don't know if that was from the CDC to the hospitals. So they were not going to give or collect that data so that they could make more better informed decisions. It made it hard for people, families like myself, whose parent, I believe, was taken out of here from the vaccine, and she had health issues, but she was convinced, and if you ask me, my mom was coerced in getting the vaccine because she was in a hospital. And one thing they do is they bombard you with the getting the vaccine. Oh, they'll say, you know, you suffer from, you know, maybe a particular disease, or, you know, you should really think about getting this because your body is too weak to, you know, try to fight it off if you catch it. But they won't tell you, if you get the vaccine, there's a possibility that, you know, you're going to catch the COVID virus or pneumonia, and your body might be too weak to fight it off, or it could cause other side effects, which they have not released any type of, again, statistical data that prove these things were causing strokes. I think something just came out, I think a few weeks ago, actually, about the strokes that people were raising the issue about. But when it comes to us, I think as Black Americans, we're put on the side of, we need to be encouraging people to be open to vaccinations because it saves lives. But they don't want to have the conversation of that it knowingly vaccines can also take lives, and how and what the number is, because again, that goes back to even the reparative justice that we're seeking. And so I think that Jamie Foxx is probably within his right to be very leery about coming out to saying whatever went on with him. But after even watching that video, it solidified to me that he was suffering from something. And if it was that he was having respiratory or any type of neural issues from the vaccine, we won't really know until we hear from him. Right, because it's not like people going to call the hospital and be like, hey, can you release his medical records so we can know, because of HIPAA law. So it's really sad, but I don't just openly trust vaccines. I always ask questions, and I'm in the lens of I'm definitely praying for his recovery, and I hope that, you know, hopefully he can tell the truth. But the policies and the people that be like the Democrat and Republicans, they playing both sides in the middle. Like, they going to play both sides to the middle. All of them are. You're going to have some out there talking about see, these people did X, Y, and Z to you. And then you're going to have the other people out there talking about you know, shame on us for not getting the vaccine. And so we're always, you know, playing, you know, the middle, the two ends against the middle or whatever. So that's how I feel. That's pretty much what I feel. But I wanted to just say that because it's a serious issue, and I'm kind of glad that we're talking about it, because, you know, medical apartheid is real, and politics plays a big part of that.
Thank you, Rella. And my thing is this: they're saying that pretty much, you know, in most places they've given up the mask mandates and everything else like that. So I'm trying to figure out, why would they require him to go ahead and from what they're saying, you know, from what we're hearing and everything, what people are reporting, at least what people are talking about, why would they require him if all the mask mandates and everything else are gone in these public places and stuff? What would be the requirement to make somebody now take a COVID vaccine? You know, if it's to the point where, you know, people don't have to wear masks in public like they were a year or two ago or whatever, what's the point of actually making people take an actual vaccination? You know, that's something that's kind of just, I don't know, just has me just wondering that, because I'm thinking that, and you see at most of these public places, a couple years ago at the games and stuff, everybody had a mask on, or most of them had a mask on. You don't see that now. So why would they make Jamie Foxx or request him or tell him that, hey, you need to go ahead and take a vaccination? That to me is just puzzling. And and your point as well, Rella, is when my mother, she had cancer and everything else, stage 4, and it was actual COVID that actually took her out. And she had already she had both her COVID shots and the booster shot, but that didn't prevent her from getting COVID one bit. And it was actually COVID, you know, that played a big part. Forget the actual liver cancer. It was actually COVID that played a major part in actually taking her out. So, you know, for all of the booster shots that she took, and she was adamant about the vaccination and everything like that. She talked me into getting the vaccination, and she like, go ahead and get a vaccination and this and that or whatever. Of course, she did have a pre-existing condition that we didn't even know about. The kids didn't know about till afterwards. You know, my dad told us afterwards that she had the same thing that Bernie Mac had, the what do they call it, scarcidosis or something like that. We didn't even know that. Like, she apparently had that since the mid 90s, but her and my dad kept that a secret. So we did not even know that till after her death. So, I guess also I have to put that in there at play too, that having a respiratory issue like that on top of having stage 4 cancer, lung cancer, and then also getting COVID. She got COVID not one time up in the hospital, in the rehab facility. She got it 2 times. And the second time, but really the first time, she never really recovered. And the second time really just finished her off as well too. So all the booster shots, all the COVID shots, and all of that other stuff didn't help her one bit in the final analysis. It's sad to say.
Were you denied any type of services while you were in the hospital? Because we were. So we were adamant about my mom, because at this point she was in a coma, and we were adamant about them actually getting oh my God, what is it called?
We weren't denied anything that I can think of, really, but we were show you had a couple of those people trying to rush the hospice right away and get the final.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm like, everybody like, yo.
They even came in and took an x-ray of her heart while she was laying in the bed, and we thought it was so weird because it happened so fast. But I have it all on recording. But they were denying her we were asking for not a CAT scan but a MRI, and the neurologist, and this is why I was saying, medical part-time tie does exist. The neurologist was Asian. The doctor that admitted my mother, who also, he was a white man, and he was like, you need to hurry up and fly to California because and say your goodbyes. They had no interest in actually saving my mother's life because they knew what it was, but they also denied services because I actually am so smart. Me and my sister looked up the things that they were supposed to do for her diagnosis, which is a hernia stroke, and they did not do it. And instead, they just let my mom, they were pretty much just letting us know, no, we're not going to transfer her, even though we requested it. No, we're not going to give her an MRI, even though you requested it. And it wasn't until the third day when I started calling the attorney, and I started saying, we need to, the power of attorney. We need to speak to the general hospital attorney. Then all of a sudden, they put the MRI on the board, but mind you, days had passed. So all of this stuff happened, and this is what they do to us. So it wouldn't be surprising to me if that Jamie Foxx, something happened to him in the hospital, or people behind the scenes in this grand scheme with his name tied to anything. If it comes out that COVID is a huge culprit into what ends Black life when it comes to the health conditions today, they're not going to let that come from under wraps. And I'm wondering if maybe somebody's telling him to stay quiet.
That's a good point you made, Rella. That's a good point. Like I say, this thing with Jamie Foxx going on, and you pointed out to it, I'm going to go ahead and get to you, Wilson. This thing with Jamie Foxx, like you say, you got a battle between the left and the right when it comes to this as well, too. One side doesn't want you to go ahead and down the actual COVID, and the other side, a strong side on the right, thinks that, hey, we got to go ahead and use him as the actual mascot for why you shouldn't get the vaccination. So you got both sides are pulling him. Both sides are pulling and trying to use him and prop him up as well too. So this is something definitely that we need to go ahead and keep an eye on. For those coming up in the room, please go ahead and tweet the space out as well too. Tonight we're talking about Jamie Foxx health condition. We're talking about the Juneteenth reparation rally, and we're also going to be discussing tonight, for those that want to talk about it, the in Black Twitter, the amount of trolls we have in the Twitter sphere. And we have a ridiculous amount of trolls in Twitter, not just Twitter, but Black Twitter we're talking about in particular. But it's a whole mess of people on here that's sitting up here talking about pulling up on people and doing this and doing that, and just, if it's that, you get one key feature that they gave you on Twitter called the block. Go ahead and block people if it's that serious. But we just see, and Black Twitter has been impactful for a lot of things that it helped go viral as well too. So a lot of news and content that otherwise that wouldn't be out there, definitely Black Twitter's played a major part in getting stories out there, breaking stories, bringing a national and global attention to certain things. But at the same time, we got a hell of a lot of trolls on here as well too. We got people doxing people, we got people threatening people, we got people pulling up on people at the residence, at places, at shows, at just ridiculous amount of stuff as well too. So we want to talk about the trolls tonight as well too on this app as well too. So let me go ahead. I believe it's Wilson. Wilson, how you doing tonight?
Hi, how's everyone doing?
Pretty good.
Good. One of the things that people have to keep in mind with Jamie Foxx is that if whatever the truth is about his health is revealed, he may not be insurable to do another movie because these people they have to be insurable. When you have certain actors that have had a history of drug issues, you have people who are investing hundreds of millions of dollars in these films, and they want to make sure that these people are insurable. I don't know about that, but that came to mind with Jamie Foxx as well, why there's this, they've been pretty much quiet, for the most part. But I do remember when back in March of 2020, when my sister called me and asked me if I could come back east to help with the kids while she was, in acute care in the midst of all this COVID. What she described to me, and I remember she said, when she looked at one body during an autopsy, she said that this thing, and she didn't know what it was at the time, this thing has a very aggressive clotting characteristic. And she said that when she took a look at this one body in autopsy, their lungs, she says, Jack, the lungs were like sponge. But the clotting factor, it was very scary to her too. So we won't know about the varying characteristics of COVID for about another 20 years, if they tell the truth. Because they haven't even officially said that this goddamn thing came from China, which it did. They haven't even admitted that. Now, I don't know about where everybody else lives, but there is a new strain of COVID that is out. And there is no vaccine for it. And from what I'm understanding, it is a particularly aggressive kind. Now, what it is and, where it's at, if they're talking about it, it's here. So, I think Jamie Foxx had fired a couple of directors on this movie, and then he ended up directing it himself. And I think that was a lot of pressure too. And who knows? He may have some kind of pre-existing. Again, you don't want they're not there. They don't want the truth to come out, because if he has a pre-existing physical problem that he has not disclosed in the past and it's out now, again, he may not be insurable for another movie. So a lot of that, I think, a lot of that plays down to the bottom line is money, and that's it. So I just wanted to share that with everybody. As far as Black Twitter and the doxing, I've been listening to a couple of rooms, with, I can't believe that people will, reveal a person's name and where they work and certain personal information that they have, maybe records or whatever like that. And the thing that I just don't get is, is there any legal ramifications to this? What is this going on? And sometimes I wonder that those that continue to dox people, are they here in spaces for the feds? Why they continue to do these things, and then you expose people and hurt people, with their families. For me, I wasn't doxxed, but I certainly was at one point threatened with my life and my livelihood, and it wasn't a good feeling. But that anyone that's doing this doxing and whatever else they're doing can continue to do it and be able to, I'm assuming, create different monikers like, what is this? I don't understand why. And then you hurt people. You hurt people, and you don't know what it does to them mentally. It might even trigger them to the point of maybe being suicidal or something like that. So I mean, I don't know what can be done, but something has to be done, because we're in these spaces to relax and to learn and to affect change, but not to hurt people like that, personally. So I land with that. The Juneteenth rally, I don't know, what's going on there, so I won't make a statement about it, but thank you so much. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you, Sister Wilson, as always. The doxing, yeah, that's one thing. And like I say, the other thing, the doxing, I hear about that occasionally here and there, whatever, popping up or whatever. But even beyond just the doxing, just a simple, just trolling people, just constantly on people comments that, just being an ass, or, to the point that you're talking about threatening people over a post or somebody's opinion or whatever. Like I say, if it's that serious, just block the person. And some people just need to go ahead and take a break off of social media. Social media for some people is too much. Go ahead and take a break. Go ahead and leave for a week or 2 or 3 weeks or a month or 2 months or whatever. Take a break, man. It's not that serious. It's an app. It's really supposed to be social networking, and to the point now that people threatening people, people constantly, just getting in people comment sections and just constantly almost like stalking them every time they post something. And that's what I'm talking about, like the constant just stalking people and back. You got some people on this app, man, that will go back and forth with you for days, back and forth in the comment section if you let them. Like, it's not even that serious. That's what I'm talking about. Like, yeah, and the doxing, that is a serious issue as well too, because we've heard people saying that, I've seen a few people on here saying that they lost their job and stuff like that. So when it's to the point where you're hurting people employment, and people got to worry about taking care of their family and everything else, that's just, to me, that's just going overboard. Like I say, it's not that serious. Come on the app. Come on here. It's supposed to be basically, a way of communicating with other people that's hundreds, if not thousands of miles away from you, a chance of connecting with like-minded people if possible. And, trolling to a certain degree, that's going to happen on social media, but to the point that it is on Twitter. Twitter's got to be one of the worst apps, one of the worst social media apps in terms of just the actual trolling that you get online and stuff like that. And sometimes this stuff spills over into real life. So that's what I'm saying. That, to me, that I guess you could say there's a harmless source of trolling and stuff, people going back and forth. But some of the stuff, I think, is just getting to the point where it's just outrageous. It's just getting too much. Like, this has become people's life here. They have no other life outside of being on social media. They can't. It's like, if they can't be on social media or something like that, for most of the people, you don't even know. So, I mean, it's like you're almost a nobody, I guess, in real life, that you have to be on here. You have to have people you don't even know. You have to have their approval. You have to have their respect, and you're willing to do any and everything to get it. To me, that's just going a little bit too far. I was going to bring Thought up here as well, too, but Thought, I see you disconnecting. So when you get a chance, if you get a chance to come back up here, go ahead. Go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hello. Yes. I did want to say, in regards to what Umbrella was saying, in regards to like Jamie Foxx and the health and the vaccines, I do know a couple of people who were in nursing homes, and remember the mandate was, if you're in a nursing home, you got to get it automatically. And my aunt, she died. She got the vaccine, and what I've noticed, again, I'm not a scientist, but when you take the vaccine, it's, if you have a pre-existing condition or if you have something, it speeds it up, or it makes it's more aggressive. It makes it worse. So if maybe something was happening 10 years, you don't know. It's faster now. The vaccine speeded up whatever it was, and I don't think they're ever going to be clear, but everybody should know that the side effect of every medication is death. Even Tylenol. There's 1,200 people that died taking Tylenol the way it was prescribed. And that's an over-the-counter medication. Even birth control. You have a stroke with birth control. My girlfriend died taking birth control the way it was prescribed. So I don't think they're ever going to really talk about the real what his health issues is. It is unfortunate, because a lot of people were led to believe that if they do take this, they could be able to do certain things. And what we're seeing is I see a lot of people who took the vaccine are having the ones with a lot of the health issues, and not necessarily people who didn't take them. In regards to I did see the video with Jamie Foxx, and I don't know if it was kind of messed up or it was my internet, but he didn't look like himself, and it was really quick, so I don't know, like, if he finished, but he was interrupted, and it's sad and it's unfortunate. It's really sad and unfortunate. In regards to the trolls, I've had to block a couple of people. I think that's sad, unfortunate, and disgusting. It's actually kind of crazy that you would go that far to having beef with somebody you don't know bad enough. You see people in real life, but you beat them with people who have no idea, no identity. That's just crazy to me. But in regards to, quote unquote, it being Black Twitter, we know all skin folks ain't kin folks. So do we know if it's actually Black folks? Because we know them Nigerians, I don't know, but they be setting up like shops like the Russians do and be on a computer. They're the ones who be stealing people money anyway. Are they the ones doing it? I'm not trying to blame them, but I'm just saying, especially Black people, we dealing with everything we got to deal with. We go to work, take care of it. Is it foundational Black Americans or freedmen actually doing it? Again, I don't know, but I'm just saying, I don't think it's us. We got too many things to deal with in our everyday that I don't think that any of us will have time to sit around and do that. So again, just because it's quote unquote Black Twitter, again, I don't know. I haven't experienced it. It's just like, you do something to me, I'm blocking you. I don't got time to be arguing with you, and I don't know. Like, damn that, I'm fighting a branch of government. But are we sure that the people that's doing it is foundational Black Americans? Because you see Black people do something. Black people, I can't see no Black American really doing shit. Like, I don't know. But that's just crazy to me. That's a whole different level of crazy for real. And I'll let my plane.
All right, thank you. I'm sure we got some Black Americans. I'm not going to say all of them. And all of Black Twitter is not Black Americans. We know you got people that's from all over the world, but there's a fair share of Black Americans also doing it as well too. I'm not going to sit up here and say it's the bulk of them, or can break it down and give you a percentage or whatever. But we got Negroes up on this app that be trolling the hell out of people as well too, and you got to check them. And you're right. And the best, like I said, the best feature that Twitter does have is that block button. Go ahead and block them. If they just keep going back and forth or whatever, go ahead and block people or whatever as well too. Like I said, there's no point of going back and forth with some of these idiots, because for the most part, the ones that's constantly going back and forth and doing this stuff are pretty much idiots. Professor, go ahead. You got it. And then we are, Gene, we're going to bring you up here as well too, so you can start discussing something about the actual reparations as well too. The Juneteenth reparation rally as well going on in DC. Because I doubt we're gonna have a long space tonight, guys. So we're gonna go ahead and try to get it in while we can get it in. You there, Professor?
I am. I'm here. Thank you again, man, for letting me come up and speak. And well, hell, I'm already up here, but anyway, thank you for letting me speak. Like I said with Jamie Foxx, man, we just got to pray for that brother, man. Continue to recover, and we don't know what's going on with him. I really couldn't tell by the video. He sounded positive. I mean, I just put it that way. He sounded positive. He was putting on a positive face for the video. I just put it that way. So we will continue to pray for him. The Black Trolls. Hell, y'all, if y'all been paying attention over the last few weeks, there's been a Smurfette coming up in this space. And she said she was a troll.
You talking about Mimi?
Yeah, Mimi, the #1 troll in Black American spaces, y'all. And she's Black American. Mimi is a Black American, y'all. Mimi has several profiles, and I learned about Mimi back here last year because she would come up in spaces and she would have 2 profiles going at one time. One that was the Mimi, the Smurfette one that you see, and then you would see it was another one.
You said winter too, wasn't it? When it winter?
Yeah, winner was the other one. Yeah. So if y'all have been up in any of these spaces, because I used to go up in all of them, you will see a lot of your trolls. It's a bunch of them. Some are Black Americans, some are non-FBA. Some of them gonna be white supremacists too. So you're gonna have them coming up in here with black faces. You know, they have high avatars and all this stuff. So you're getting all kinds of trolls that come up in spaces, y'all. I do my best really to just kind of block people like that or don't argue with them. I think it's a waste of time to argue with the trolls. Mimi is a special kind of troll. She really is. She's very different from some of the other ones because she will at least come into space and just tell you that's what she's doing. Like she did to Newstoter the other night.
Yeah, when she taking because I think DJ showed a screenshot. She was taking screenshots and she was talking about that the hosts were losers and everything up in there. Like,
yeah, that's her, man. That's her, man. She's like, I think she's like 49, 50 years old. So she's kind of a unique type of troll, that's for sure. You wouldn't think a woman of that age would be going up in spaces trolling, but hey.
Let's be for real too. Now, let's not forget, Professor. We had to block me, you, Ray, DJ. We had to block T.S. Giselle in one of the spaces too to keep her from coming up, or keep it from coming up in here as well too. So it's a bunch of trolls that people think that trolls are just the ones that actually also that leave the little tweets and stuff like that. But a lot of them will come into the spaces here and there, whatever too. You got. Some of these people just got to go ahead and block them, man. And it's a bunch on Black Twitter.
Yeah, it is, man. And so family, just block them, or if you don't want to, you can keep talking to them or whatever. Like Mimi. Some people, I guess, don't really mind Mimi because she's kind of a funny one. Out of all of them, she's actually kind of funny. And because the rest of them, they be, doxing you with your pictures or they putting your address out there. I don't think Mimi does that type of stuff. She just mainly just come up in space and just try to be crazy or whatever. But that's about it, y'all. I'm gonna land my plane right there.
Real talk, Professor. Like I said, it's a number of them on here, man, as well too. I'm trying to think next week, guys. I know we're going to have a space. We're going to be having a space too on Black representation in politics. I know that's going to be one space for next week that I can think of. Also, we're going to have, I believe might be Tuesday. I don't know if y'all know Jess Eve. She has a space. And because this is something I just heard about recently, and I want to go ahead and have a space on it. I don't know much about it, but I just heard about this actual term recently called pick me. So Just Eve has a pick me podcast, and she's gonna come in here and actually have a space with us next week sometime to actually discuss the actual term and what it means and everything like that as well too. So definitely check that out, because like I say, this is something I just heard about the actual term just about 2 weeks ago. So no taxation. How you doing tonight?
Hey, I'm pretty good, News. How you doing?
Pretty good.
Good, except for the smoke. Me and our line, man, we over here. It's got us. Now that's just what it is. It's still messed up. It's still messed up.
You up north too? You up north too? No taxation.
Yeah, I am probably closer, about 4 to 5, 6, depending on where you're going. In Canada, hours from Canada.
Oh, okay, yeah. So you definitely getting it.
Yeah, I saw just a peak of blue sky today and a peak of the sun, but just as quick as I saw it, that's how quick it left. It's still kind of dark, in the daytime, and still smoky and cloudy. And nobody's on the streets. It looks like a ghost town. White folks done fucked up the air.
I hope this is not
amongst other things they done messed up.
Bill Gates. Newstoter, I hope this ain't Bill situation.
Block out the sun.
Oh, you ain't heard about that? Look it up.
I never heard of that one. No, I never heard it. He was trying. How the hell can you block out the sun?
He
Well,
wanted
if you
to
get enough
throw.
smoke, you can. I can tell you
Right.
for a fact because that sun is not beaming through that smoke.
It's
I
not.
believe
So
that.
he had talked about throwing up particles into the atmosphere that would float into the float past the ozone layer into the atmosphere to almost kind of like put a cast over the earth to help minimize, he says, the sun's rays. And so I was thinking, well, what do scientists do? You know, people think because he's just a computer guy that he don't dibble and dabble in science. I mean, he is a part of the World Health Organization. I'm just saying. I know it sounds conspiracy, but hey, you know, wilder things have happened.
Well, a lot of people are asking, why is it we can see that dam break over there in Ukraine and watch that nuclear power plant with these drones and satellite stuff, but we can't get too much information. We haven't seen too much of anything coming out of Canada. My thing is this can't be the first wildfire that Canada ever had. This is the first wildfire that Canada is having that has affected over 100 million Americans in this country. I find it very strange. You mean to tell me in the history of Canada this has never happened with the wildfires? I'm zooming through. Y'all white folks.
And what wildfires, you know, cause an orange cast.
Exactly.
And when you walk outside and breathe in, the moment you start breathing in, you start feeling sick, like you being poisoned.
Yeah, you got to wear a mask. I'm telling you, everybody around here got a mask on. Like we didn't just go through that. And see, what y'all got to understand is those viruses and stuff, they love to mutate in the cold. Wilson was talking about this new virus they got out, but they said that was going to happen last year. They said early last year that we was going to have something. So I don't know what white folks is up to, but I know it's no damn good. They always up to no damn good. And so now here we are sitting in the smoke in the middle of June, can't even go outside. Everybody know people in New York, the first thing we want to do is go outside when the sun comes because we don't see it that often. So, you know.
New taxation. Did you feel like throwing up when you came back in the house? Yeah, I did. When I walked outside, I took the kids off to school and then I came back and I was like in the car and I said, why do I feel like I want to throw up?
I've just been really, really tired. And that is not me. Like I get up and I have energy. You know what I mean? I don't get tired until, you know, sort of 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night. And every day I wake up in the morning and I say, ooh, Lord, how come I can't get out of bed? And that's, you know, I shouldn't be in that kind of shape. I don't do that. You know, I don't have a history of that. And so here, even during the whole COVID thing, I didn't have that problem. Now all of a sudden I'm tired. I can't hardly do anything. You can't even walk your dog. They say don't stay outside past 10 minutes. That's what they're telling us. Don't go outside past 10 minutes. Now come on, now. I'm coughing in my own home, and I got all the things because you know when COVID happened, you have to buy all those things. We can't even open our windows. We cannot open our windows, and it's cold here, like almost wintertime cold. You think it was in the middle of fall. You think this was November. That's how cold it is here. I got on socks, long sweatsuits, and everything. I should be in flip-flops and shorts. So there you go. White folks, they up to no damn good, and they won't tell us nothing. And just like Wilson said, we're not going to know anything about this whole COVID. We're not going to know anything about the after effects of any of this and what really went on. She said 20 years, but I say 40 to 50 years unless somebody uncovers it. We need Julian Assange to get on it. Tell him.
Yeah, because Aaron Brockovich, she ain't going to uncover this shit. She might be, they might have got to her after that derailment. Them derailments didn't happen.
Well, you know, she went down there to Houston and took a photo out. They asked her to come down there. She went out there and took a picture.
I tried.
Yeah, so, you know, we can't put much stock in her.
I said, damn it. Selling out for money.
Well, she sold out a long time ago. They bought her off a long time ago. But look, I came up here to tell y'all about the rally. I have a little speech, so bear with me. It ain't gonna take but a minute. This. I wrote this out because this is how important it is to me. Because y'all know I usually talk off the dome. This is the first time in my life I've seen this derision amongst black folks. Who taught y'all that? Do y'all know that you're only helping in your own demise? There's many Juneteenth celebrations happening in DC that weekend. I hope everyone that's planning to go to DC takes part in them. Don't let the fact that I canceled the rally stop you from taking part in the festivities. The cancellation came late because I held out hope that the derision would cease and that people would at least donate to pay for the DJ. Sadly or happily, I always hold out hope for our people. Now my hope is in the next generation of children, if they make it based on what they'll be up against. For everyone that donated, and I thank you for donating on the GoFundMe, you will receive your money back in 7 to 10 days according to their website, starting today. There was never a bank account attached to the fund, so it should be a cakewalk. I will be checking it every day to make sure everyone gets refunded. Lastly, as I stated, do not let the cancellation of the rally stop you from going to DC and enjoying your Juneteenth celebration. That's it, and I thank everyone that hung in there with me.
Oh wow!
Oh, wow. Yeah, he's right. I'm sorry to hear about that. No taxation. Definitely.
Well, here's the thing. Between me, the room, and the internet, which is billions of people, I was told a long time ago to cancel. I was up against every government in Washington, D.C. What the White House is doing is something that I planned on doing. And the White House just announced their stuff yesterday or today, very late in the game. Maybe they got the idea from me. Who knows? I did not understand when I started planning this that my permit was actually for the monument. I kept pushing the Sylvan Theater because that's what the writing says on their website. And when I was sat in that very first meeting, they told me it is not the Sylvan Theater, it is the monument. That's something they didn't push. And I told you all that before. If you look where the monument is situated in Washington, D.C., it's between the Lincoln Memorial and the Capitol. It's the very center of it. And that means something to those white boys, not just in the National Park Service, but on Capitol Hill. And I get it, you know. It's just like any other type of piece of land that they want to keep to themselves, a piece of beach, Central Park in New York, you know. Those are those lands that they protect. And that also used to be the land where enslaved people were being sold. They used to hang them over there by the Supreme Court, but they sold them over there where the monument, before the monument was built. And so it has history attached to it and a legacy that they hold on to. And I understand all of that because, you know, it is what it is. What I didn't understand was the derision with black folks. I had no idea that people hated other people so much because of what they believed and that they were black. And that they hated. And when I say hated, you know, I don't use that word often, but I see hate. I see hate. And I'm not understanding that because that's not where I come from. You know, certainly there's people I dislike. There's certainly people I don't agree with, but I don't hate them and I don't go after them. It's just like you were talking about these trolls. That's hate. That's what it is. It's you know, you all call it trolling, but see, trolling is what we saw trolling on Twitter was something vastly different than what I see now. What I see now is actual hate, and for people to put out other people's address and their name when they don't want that out, to me means that you're trying to get that person killed. See, and you have to have hate in your heart if you want that to happen to somebody, especially somebody that looks like you. I don't know when it started. I don't know if it'll end. It's not my problem. Um, but that played a very integral role in why the rally also needed to be canceled and why people were telling me to cancel it from from a while back. Um, and then things came up along the way. Somebody didn't like somebody wanted to have top billing and have to say they were the ones and don't invite this person. Y'all don't understand. This is what I was told to do. I was asked to do this. I wasn't told because you can't tell me that. But I was well. If that person, if you're going to invite that person, have that person speak. I'm not coming. See, I don't operate in those ways. I just don't do it. I feel like everybody counts. We all count. And I don't put a discount on people's blackness, especially if you're out there working. Especially if you're out there working and you're really trying to move black folks forward in this country. Because you're doing it that way, that doesn't mean I hate you because it's not the way I would do it. It's just like you all talk about Dr. Claude Anderson. My father and Claude Anderson knew each other well. One was a Republican, one was a Democrat. They used to sit down together and have lunch together and say, well, how you going to work it on your end? Well, this is how I'm going to work it on my end. Y'all don't do that. And that's what I'm accustomed to doing. I'm accustomed to working with people for the greater good, for the betterment of. And that's not what I'm seeing out here. There are very few people out here that are really willing to put their money where their mouth is and to put in the work and to get in the trenches and do what they have to do. The workers are very few, very, very few. And it just is what it is. And so that played another major role in why it needed to be canceled. The other thing about it is I'm not going to have, I got to use a hip hop reference here, Nipsey reference here. I'm not going to have no smut on my rap. I ain't putting nothing ugly on my name. I ain't doing that. I'm not doing that. And I have, I have people in Washington, D.C., friends of my father's, that said, no, now is not the time because of the political landscape. And so I had to take that into account. So, for that reason, it had to get canceled. The fact that nobody even wanted to pay the people who donated or, tweeted anything out. Certainly, I'm not talking about you all, but if the shoe fits, wear it. If you couldn't even give $1 to something for the betterment of the greater good, then you don't want the DJ, you didn't want Marcel, it's a whole lot of stuff y'all don't want. So don't want it, and I won't have it. And so that's the way I feel about it. I don't feel like it was not worth it. Certainly, it was all worth it for me. It was a lot of work because I started in March of last year. And truthfully, I didn't get any real help until the second week of March in 2023. So it was an entire year. I had to go through a lot of people before I even got any help. And the help that I received was good help, but it ended up being subpar at the end. And that's just the way the game goes. I'm not mad at nobody. I'm not blaming nobody. I'm just saying it is what it is. The landscape says that we're not ready yet. That's what it says to me, that we're just not ready yet. And I don't know if we'll be ready because you all are the smartest. Farrakhan said it some years ago. You all are the smartest group that we've ever had in the history of this country. And we've had some great thinkers in our time. But collectively, y'all the ones. And if y'all let it go down the wayside, man, we're going to be stuck in that 50-year loop. And your children are going to be the ones that have to carry the torch and the mantle. I was hoping that we was going to be able to break some curses, but we can't break nothing. We can't do it. We can't do it the way we rolling. We're not gonna make it like this. I damn guarantee we're not gonna make it like this. So, and that's it.
All right, thank you. No taxation. Like I say, so are you still going to be? Is it still going to be anything happening in terms? Are you going to be up there this next weekend or?
Well, I have been invited to several events. Okay, That's because I know the people, and it's something happening at the MGM. I forget who's having that, but the DJ that was supposed to DJ for us, I'm on his guest list. There's some things going on in Baltimore that people have invited me to, and there's some things in DC. So if I go, I'm having a great time. You know what I mean? Like it's not gonna stop me from having a good time, but that's me. I really held on as long as I could because I really wanted people, not just people like Muffet and people like Melon and Rella, that are doing some things outside of the rally. I wanted it to happen for them certainly and those other people, but I also wanted it to happen for the people who put their Eventbrite up, or people who bought a ticket and said they were coming. That's why I said still come. Rella can have her event without having the rally. There's a lot of Juneteenth festivities that's going to be going on the mall because that's what we do in DC. So, you miss this one, you'll have another one. It's going to be festive. There won't be a protest likely, but you'll have a good time. Muffet, I believe he planned something. He paid for a space to have something going on. So get with him and find out what he's doing, because do not let that stop you from having a good time. See, one monkey don't stop no show. Them's the rules. And so if you're going to DC, if you planned on going to DC, the only thing you have to do is not go to what would have been a rally. You can still go to the monument. It just won't be no rally over there. Monument will be open. You can still go to the mall. The White House is having something. There's going to be all kind of stuff going on. So basically, go, have a good time, do what you do. But just remember why you're there. You're there because you're celebrating Juneteenth. And that is part of, not all, but part of the reason we fight for reparations. Like never lose focus, Maybe the rally wasn't meant to be, and that's okay. It's okay. That's not what's bothering me. What bothers me right now is this daggone smoke, because I can't go outside, truth to tell. But don't let a rally stop you from doing what you need to do to fight for reparations or to have a good time during Juneteenth, because the show has to go on. Life goes on. It don't stop.
All right. Thank you. No taxation. Let me go ahead and get to Ray. Ray, go ahead and unmute your mic.
What's up, everybody? I'm gonna be real brief. So, my name was brought up earlier when you was talking about TS. That nigga absolutely deserved to get blocked. She was going. I ain't gonna say she. That thing was going around, lying on the space, trying to get you shut down, even though you did all you could to open your arms, virtually, to make TS feel as welcome as possible. That person came in here being disrespectful, lying on us, saying we were doing this, that, and the third. So that person deserved to get blocked. The second thing, since we're talking about, everyone being sick, there was an article that was published in the Atlantic. It was titled, give me a second, I want to make sure I get the title right. It says the next stage of COVID is starting now. And it's by I believe it has something to do with the World Health Organization. And they're saying that this next wave is going to be even worse than the COVID, that we dealt with, 2 years ago or whatever. And this one is going to specifically target children. I land there.
Good Lord, we sure don't need another shutdown of everything like we suffered a couple years ago as well, too. But if you're talking about something with children, and that's the one thing when you're dealing with viruses and things of this nature, it always mutates. No matter what type of virus is going to mutate. So the last thing we need is another major shutdown. And let's remember, for those of us that have kids that had to virtual homeschool, and thank goodness I was able to my parents was able to help my kids out and stuff with the virtual school, but that really set those kids back. Okay. That really, that the kids really suffer with that virtual school. So I'm hoping, and that's one of the things that we have to look at also when we talk about globalization and everybody traveling all over the world and this and that or whatever. I know it's great that we have planes and we have ships and everything, and we can travel like we couldn't 150, 200 years ago. But at the same time, with everything, there's drawbacks as well too. What's over on the other side of the world, people traveling freely from here to there to here. Things get brought over. And that's a simple thing that we don't really think about when we think about globalization and travel and everything else. So that's always a setback. That's always something we have to look at. But yeah, you're right. And we had to go ahead and TS had to go ahead and block this mug right here, just sitting up here lying and everything else and whatnot. So yeah, that was one of the best blocks we did the entire space that night. Decided, like, let's just go ahead and block, and that was a good thing. Rella, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Thanks, Newstoter. Gene, no taxation. I want to give you your flowers. I want to give you your flowers because you already know it was hard behind the scenes. But it doesn't mean that, like you said, it's the end. I commend you even for holding on for as long as you did. And I think for everybody behind the scenes, I want to thank them and also give them their flowers, even people who made it possible to just have the discussion and try to take it further, to get more and more people involved. I believe that type of energy is the energy that we all need when it comes to what support and action looks like. It's not always in the sense of, what we all feel should happen. I believe that, when we come together and we find common ground to make something happen, that's the beauty of the things that we're able to create. And, a lot of people had their hands in different things at different times. And I just want to just love on them and give them their flowers as well. The tour was really kind of like a preemptive to get people prepared who were coming into DC to be prepared for the rally the next day. And I need people to know the joy that we took, the pride that we took in wanting to develop and prepare for guests coming into the area, or even the people who live in the area. And if you don't know what love looks like, or you don't know what care looks like, you haven't met a lot of us then, truly. And I need people to understand that it takes a lot to really try to prepare for people that you don't know and have joy and pride in it. And there's no condemnation in it. There's no prerequisite of who had to be there and who had to come. None of that. And that's what people have to find their place and get, I don't know, down in your shanana somewhere where you find it in yourself to realize if we don't get into a space where we can coexist off of social media, so we can have further conversation and dialogue, and we can connect and we can start to build, then we will be in a continuous state of harm. Reparations and the discussion of reparations is not just the things that we see online. It really is stuff that we talk about tangible. Well, tangibly, getting involved requires you to show up. It requires you to be present. Our ancestors didn't have a choice but to be present. They didn't have a social media that they can run to connect each other. Half the time, information took a long time to get to people because there wasn't any accelerated fast track to communication. So even though the rally won't happen this year, we can plan for another time. And then for those who are interested in still joining the tour, I named it One Love. One Love, everybody calls it I Love. One Love was something that my uncle used to do when we were little. We would take our fingers and we would touch our tips of our fingers together, and he would always say One Love, not the Bob Marley One Love, but it was a different type of a transfer of energy and understanding. So that's what I named the tour. Because it was, again, a preemptive to the rally, to utilize our time to showcase that we deserve to be recognized, Juneteenth deserves to be celebrated. Our history in all of its information deserves to be uplifted and respected by us, the descendants, and the people who support our push for reparations and repair to justice. So, yes, I'm a little hurt. Actually, I'm a lot of hurt. But the Eventbrite is still up. I told, someone I really speak to, I'm really respected, and I told him, I was going to do the same thing. I was going to cancel the tour if, people didn't want to come. But I said, no, I'm going to still take my own tour. I'm still going to show up and go through the entire process because it was something placed on my heart to present to the family, present to show up for you all. And even if you don't show up, I'm still going to show up. So Miss Giselle is having a laying of the flags. We're all still, those of us who will be working on different events are going to get together to try to put something still together for people. Muffet sent you a message. So there is room for us to still lay at the feet of our people something nice for Juneteenth weekend for those who are of the American descendant lineage and allies who want to support. You can always check my page for more information. The Eventbrite, is still up. Other than that, again, thank you so much, No Taxation. And I do hope that, this won't be the last. I know probably won't be your last, but I'm just saying, for you being involved.
Well, thank you, Rella. We had missteps, not Rella and I, because I knew Rella before this, before I even had an idea of a rally last year. So our relationship was going to be intact anyway. But there were some things that went down even with her that she didn't even know about, that people brought in and pulled her name in and put mud on her name to me. And, I just don't get down like that. I just don't get, I don't, if y'all notice, I really don't even argue with people on Twitter. You know why? Because I'm not trying to get my blood pressure all worked up behind a bunch of bullshit. If it doesn't directly affect me and my family, like I'm letting it go. That's just who I am. But when I have people that I have worked with over the years, say, well, I have to have top billing. My organization has to be, we have to have our names at the top. And then I got the government saying to me, well, what organizations are you having? Because they scared it's going to be FBA or ADOS or something like that. I'm the one that's caught in the middle, trying to make peace with everybody. And all I wanted was to have the black grassroots. My premise never changed. To have the black grassroots and their children and their elderly. I even had a reach out to black disabled community in Washington, D.C. And I had to even fight the government in Washington, D.C. to say I'm making room for them. See, when you're up against all that and you're constantly throwing your sword back and forth and you're getting wins and you're winning the battle. The war was when I saw that there's very few people out there that wanted it to succeed. And so I can't want success for people who don't want to succeed. I just don't operate like that. Like if, I got so many stories. I remember the guy out in Baltimore, he had AI when nobody had AI. He had them goggles, young black guy, had them goggles that you put on, that Apple and the rest of them. He got his stuff on a NASA. It was going to the moon when I met him. He was already doing those things. And I told him, look, let me take you to the hill so your money don't get cut. And when Trump came in, he said, I ain't got to go. I said, why? I made appointments for him. I don't have to go. I said, why is that? Well, because they're not going to cut my money. Because they're Republicans. They're not going to cut my money. They're not going to cut the program that I'm in. I'm not worried about it. I said, okay, I let it go. The first thing they did, cut the money money that he was getting. And I saw it coming, but I can't want successful people who don't want it. I've been in the game too long. I've seen too many fail, and I've seen very few wins, believe it or not. Very few wins Black folks have. And, I have a certain caliber of work that I adhere to on the Hill. And this was the first effort I made for Black grassroots. I don't consider it a failure because nothing beats a failure but a try. And I tried. It just didn't work. It didn't work. There's a lot of people out there that didn't want me to succeed. And that's okay. They can hate on me, if that's how they want to use their energy. I can't use my energy for that because I'm waiting on the sun to shine and for the smoke to go away. For my energy to come back, I got something else to do. I used to live in a place where the living is easy and the air is clean. Where the living ain't that easy and the air ain't that clean no more because they got Canadian wildfires. And so, but based upon that, my family is healthy. We're in the middle of our businesses in the middle of acquisition, so I'll be okay. Myself and my family will be okay. But there are so many people out here that won't be okay. So many Black folks that just won't be okay. And I was fighting for the children and for the disabled and for the poor and for the jobless and for the hungry. That's who I was fighting for. I was fighting for our people that have been continually cast out and left out on purpose. And if people don't know my heart, they don't see it, that's on them. It's not on me. Because I'm still going to make it. And I'm going to be like Biggie. It was all a dream. Okay? And thank you, Ella. I appreciate that.
All right. Thank you. No taxation. Go ahead, Black Majority State.
Okay, peace, Newstoter, Professor. I see DJ down there. So I wanted to come up to also second the appreciation for the vision of the tour or not the tour, I'm sorry, the rally itself. And, for all the effort that was put in to try to make it happen. I want to relay a story that happened to me last night. I'm at the last stop. I'm kind of in a rush to leave the gas station, and a young Black male comes up to me and he says, hey, brother, I'm hungry. Is there any way you could buy me something to eat for me and my partner out in the car? He points to the car. I see there's another person there. So I say, sure, man, order whatever you want. Get the food. We're at the checkout. I'm paying for the food. He said, man, is there any way you could get us a drink? You know what I mean? So I said, oh, hey, do what you got to do, right? Whatever it comes up to, somewhere around $30. As I'm getting ready to leave, the gentleman pounds my hand. He says, God bless you. I say, hey, man, God bless you. Good luck, brother. That type of thing. I get in the vehicle, I get in the truck, and I see they're in a beautiful white BMW 5 Series, but it has Montana plates. And I could tell the guy had a little bit of a different accent from the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania accent. I was that guy. I was that guy in Atlanta trying to get a record deal when I was 17 years old, living in a Jaguar with my brother, selling cassette tapes for food at a drive-through Wendy's. If we don't see our humanity in each other, we are going to perish. In this country, these people do not care about us. This was a really strong, valuable lesson for me as someone who is really trying to organize something that is quite literally earth-shattering. It has global implications for Black Americans to become the majority of even a single state. and it just has really opened my eyes to a lot of things that I just won't waste time with in the future moving forward. But I do want to thank Miss Jean and everyone else. I see Miss Trouble. I know Miss Trouble worked very hard. Miss Mel Cruz, Miss Giselle, all the people who I know worked really hard to help. And you know, I am still going there. I'm still going on Miss Rella's tour. I still will be in DC taking pictures on Juneteenth, and hopefully some people will show up too. Thank you.
Thank you, Black. I appreciate that, and I'm glad he shouted those names out. I've shouted some names out before. Not everybody wants to be named, so and I'm gonna honor that with them. But everybody that he shouted out, these people were instrumental in helping me. And it took me a long time. It took me months to even find them. I had to go through a lot of people to find Mel, to find Trouble, to find Black. Rella I already knew, so that was a done deal. But and the work was a few, and then Muffet came in at the very end, and he dropped a grip, and didn't even know that it was being involved in it. So his intentions are very pure. So whatever he's doing, I say get with him. If you want to be a mover and a shaker, now if you're just trying to eavesdrop and listen, don't go over there to him. Because I can tell he's the kind of man he's not gonna have time for the mess either. So I thank everybody who had a hand in it, because
Black is being modest because he ain't even talk about how he finagled that whole website.
He put his money where his mouth is.
Yeah,
that's what skin in the game.
Yes,
skin in the game. And I'll tell you something. Rella put skin in the game. Everybody, Trouble put skin in the game. They took time out of their schedule, and time is money. Come on, let's not pretend it's anything other than that. Time is the one commodity you can never get back. And so if you donated a minute, a second, 5 minutes, 10 hours to it, then you put skin in the game. And that's the important thing. Who are the workers? Who really cares about Black folks? And who's just talking? Newstoter, he was the first one to put skin in the game. The first one to put skin in the game. He said, what do you need? See, I even asked him, it was just 2 days ago when I said, can I get in this week? He's allowing me that. He don't have to do this. He does not. This is not his job. He ain't got, this is not putting any feathers in his cap. He's doing this because he believes in the cause, just like whatever I do with him, tweeting him out, donating, retweeting, whatever I do, it's for the betterment of him, because it's necessary and it's important. And we have to get behind the people that are really putting skin in the game. It might not be money, it might be time. Both of them are great. And we got to know the difference between the bullshit and, sorry, because I know we're on the YouTube, but between the BS and what's real and what's fake. And there's a lot of fake out here, y'all. You'd be shocked at the fake. The fake that looks real. I didn't even know people could act like that. When I say act, I'm talking about like acting on the stage, took classes, graduated and got degrees. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's looking like out here. And then you got some people that came into the village and they purposely are sowing derision. They're doing it on purpose. And if you give a minute to them, then that's time that you've lost that you could have been doing something productive, even if it was just washing dishes and mopping the floor in your own home. It's always something to do at home. So don't give them nothing. Don't give them any light, because the more light you give them, the more light they'll get. Keep them in the dark. I'll leave it at that.
I think no taxation, like Rella said. Like let's try to coordinate something for next year and go ahead and start setting up, and we can start doing spaces and stuff strictly, It's one thing to do a space on Juneteenth, but we can do some fundraising type spaces and stuff like that. I don't care what anybody said. Marcel is a good person to have to come out there. It's a reason why all of this stuff that he's always coming out there speaking and stuff like that. So definitely, people have personal issues with everybody, but you yourself, you heard Marcel speak. He's a good person to have come out there as well. So we can go ahead and start planning on something like this next year. And like I say, we could go ahead and do more spaces on it, as well as just holding spaces strictly for fundraising for the actual because I know we had a couple spaces we were able to fundraise and get some decent money, but not nearly enough. So that would be one of the goals right there is, maybe to have a weekly space or something like that where we can do, just solely for the fundraising for something like that.
And I am talking to the permit office. The reason I have not given up my permit is because what y'all don't know is that the Pan Africans approached me and asked me to contact them so they could get in. And I refused to do so because my premise will be the same. This is lineage-based reparations, and it was for everybody. It wasn't just for a group. It wasn't for an organization. It was for Black grassroots. And I could have sold it out a long time ago if I wanted to. I chose not to because I'm not new to the game. I'm true to the game. And, it's still not an open permit. And it won't be open until next year. And, it may not even be open then. I might do exactly what Newstoter said. See? And I can do that. I can do that. But what I'm not going to do is not be true to me. I'm not going to have any smut on my name. And I'm not going to allow the Pan Africans to have it. I'm not going to let that permit be open. I'm not going to do it. Nobody going down there. We don't go, won't nobody go. How about that? So that's how I feel about it.
Absolutely. Let me read a couple comments. In Trouble, I'm gonna get to you. I see you with your hand up, but let me read a couple comments that we got from some of our people. We got Muffet says, I experienced it. I went to spaces on this app and asked others if they would attend. They refused because they didn't like the organizers. I didn't know who the organizers were at the time, but I thought it's important to show our collective numbers. I still have faith in us. Monty Hall also wrote this in one of the comments. He says, everything is a popularity contest with most of us. If whatever group or voice that's popular doesn't co-sign an idea or plan, then our people won't support it. It doesn't matter how much the planned idea makes sense or will benefit the entire group. Definitely two true statements right there. If I ever heard it, with our people sometimes we're still stuck on we have a group mindset as well. So Monty was definitely right, and Muffet was right.
Martin Luther King had a speech about it. It's called the drum major instinct. I want to be first. See? And I wasn't with it. I just was not with it. I don't care what organization you're coming from, and I don't care what you all have accomplished. It was for Black grassroots. And if you put the word out about me that I'm foul, then that makes you foul. See? Because I was doing Black grassroots. I wasn't doing organizations. I was never doing that. I was doing Black folks, their children, Black folks disabled, Black folks elderly, Black folks poor, Black folks hungry. And if you can't buy into that, don't buy into it. I get it. You're working for the other team. And it's just what it is.
Absolutely. Trouble, go ahead and unmute your mic. Trouble, how you doing tonight?
Hey, Newstoter. Hello to the Black family in the room. Shout out to everybody. Much love to y'all. Hope everyone is doing well. I just came to give the same love and respect and sentiments to Jean, Miss No Taxation. Sister, I'm so proud of you for everything that you accomplished throughout this process. I am honored that you invited me along for the ride and thought to add me into your thing, your vision, and made me a part of it. It really made me feel some ways, and I was able to get my babies involved, and it sparked up a different level of conversation in my home, and even with my husband, where he's never been big on the whole reparations conversation. Just by me talking about it with him and the kids and trying and soliciting his advice, he started getting excited about it. Even though he had his worries about, the white supremacists messing with us down at the rally, he still was getting excited about it. So that was really kind of pivotal for me. So it was a lot of different things, and I appreciate you. I'm sad to know that it is coming to close for now, temporarily, but I understand at the same time. I've been inside a lot of different spaces, and I've heard a lot of different conversations where people misconstrued who was actually organizing, the organizers behind it. It was a whole lot of chatter. People had the wrong information, and sometimes it just feels like with our people is that any excuse is better than none, because some of the excuses and things that I was hearing was nonsensical. It didn't make sense, and it just seemed like some people just didn't want to support it just for the hell of not supporting it, because it wasn't necessarily their thing, or it didn't necessarily come from somebody who was at the top of who they deemed to be leader-esque. I'll put it like that. I've heard some people say, well, so-and-so gave the thumbs down, so this particular group is not going to show because this person gave the thumbs down. So you let one person dictate what's on your mind and what's on your heart, when there's something for the entire collective of all of us. We still want to play these games where we want to separate ourselves into this faction, that faction, and that faction, and that faction. And if this person of this faction isn't co-signing and saying A, B, and C, then you got people who is, and I'm gonna go ahead and say, you got people who want to throw events on the same day or same time frame, knowing that this was already going on. So as a collective, we are not in line. We are not in step and sync. And I always say on these spaces, I'm not the most religious person, but Lord knows I've gained a lot of little bit of religious bit pieces over the years. I'm gonna blame my husband on that one. But what I know is what the Most High God has for us, He has for us. And in due time, when it is time for us to step out and show out and do this thing, it will be so. And I appreciate everybody who came along the way. I cannot forget my brother DJ up in the cut, because DJ has been a rider every late night space, shouting out the reparations.com 2020, get up in the Jumbotron. DJ has he's from the beginning. He was the first person that I heard that I came in contact with, who was constantly on the flow about it, and making posters, making pamphlets, making CDs, and constantly talking about it, arguing with people in these Twitter streets about what reparations is and what it wasn't, and who was what and who wasn't. And so shout out to you, brother. Much love to you. And Newstoter, you did the damn thing. Black always on board. Rella, my sister Mel, Muppet, everybody who came online, even the latecomers that stepped up in the cut, everybody who participated and came through on these spaces, showed us love, retweeted it out, or just even had us in mind, or who just wasn't a hating ass hater. Much love and shout out to you. That's all I can say. And we're going to do this. Eventually, it's going to come to pass. I believe that, like I said, what God has for us, He has for us. And anytime we said last year throughout all of the different reparations that was coming up, that we need to be having these things every year. And so hopefully the ball stays rolling and it stays hot, and we're moving forward from here. The party don't stop. The party ain't over. Ain't that what God said? The party ain't over. Ain't that what Teddy Riley said? It ain't over. It ain't over. We just two-stepping right now to the side a little bit, But much love, everybody. Thank you.
DJ is the best hype man in the business. He is the best hype man in the business. Do you hear me?
Yes, he is.
Okay, Flavor Flav ain't got nothing.
No, Flav and that clock got to go. He needs to stand down, because DJ is the best hype man in the business. Okay, and just to go show you what 100% man he is. DJ and I, when DJ got bad at me, which it wasn't no thing, and came right back and kept on working with me. See, that's how black folks are supposed to do. Even if you get mad at me or I get mad at you, put it to the side for the greater good. See, that's 100% black man. That's a 100% black man. When you can do stuff like that, say, now, you done pissed me off. I'm out. And then come back and say, okay, come on, let's go back and work again. And I work with you and you work with me. That lets me know you really are about black folks and you are 100%. And those are the only kind of people I want to have around me. And the ones that have been around me for this journey, they're going to stay around me. Because just like Trevor said, one monkey don't stop no show. I told y'all, don't let this thing stop y'all. Please don't let it stop y'all. And if, if y'all come to DC, look, I might not be on the bus, bro. I'm going to try to get on the bus, but I might not be on the bus. But I'll be there because I still want to shake hands with people. Luco, he was another one. He met me at the site, left his job, drove from Baltimore all the way down to DC, tourist season and everything, and came down there to meet me and see what it was I needed. That's 100% black people. See, Newstoter stepped up, Black stepped up, all the women, Rella, Trouble, Mel. There's so many people that I got in the end of this thing that I wish I had in the beginning, because it would have been a 100% success, because all of those people that I named and more, they're 100% for the people. That much I know and that much I stand on, and I'm going to leave it there.
Real quick, Faded Polo, I see you keep leaving these comments in the comments section. Nobody ever said that reparations was only cash first, was cash only. Many times we said in this space that we need cash, land, and policy as well. So I don't know why you keep tweeting out these little posts and whatnot in the comment section. But like I told you before, you're more than welcome to come up in the space and go ahead. I've already extended the mic to you a couple times. And you've been up in the space before. You requested to speak, but you never did speak. You're more than welcome to come up in the space and request a microphone and talk. You're saying there's more important shit to talk about? Well, then school us on it. I already said it, and we said it numerous times. Yes, cash is the first and most important thing, but land is also needed, as well as actual policy as well too, in terms of making black people a protected class and ensuring things solely for black people. So come on up here, man. Stop with the nonsense. Stop tweeting and posting little garbage that nobody even said. Come on up in here, get on the microphone. I'm extending the microphone to you. Come on up here. Don't be afraid. Since you keep tweeting this stuff out or whatever, and this and that or whatever, nobody said that cash was the only thing. I've never said cash was the only thing, because cash could never be the only thing. It was promised 40 acres in the land. And I believe General Sherman also was saying a couple $100 was owed at that time as well, too. So it needs to be cash first. Then it needs to be land, followed by policy. So Southern Hospitality, I'm extending an invite to you. Come on up into the space and have some. Get the microphone. If you man enough to come on up here, because you keep posting little comments, come on up here as men. We don't need to post comments. I will be respectful. I will go ahead and let you say what you got to say, but don't keep posting nonsense. Rella, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yeah, we talked about, Black Twitter trolls. And sometimes I think we could be our biggest trolls. Again, everybody they're having echo chamber discussions, maybe amongst themselves in their heads, with people that sound like them because it's safe. You don't want to have discussions with people that offer additional information, because now you're going to have to be challenged to prove or disprove what you knew, or what you know, or what you don't know. So the thing that I take away from tonight is not to be a troll to getting what it is that we need. And what we need, along with reparations, cash, the 5 pillars, non-repetition, in perpetuity, all of the things that, if you have not read the 500-page report that California has done the work to uncover Marcel. I was on Marcel's team. I was one of the executives on his team. We also had a reparations plan that we were part of, that Marcel wrote, Lloyd wrote, and that we were, myself, Alexis, Mr. Osric Pratt, all of us had a hand in helping develop Marcel's reparations plan, because we're all smart enough. We're all intelligent enough. I don't care what level of education that you have. You have the Midas touch to make things happen. I don't know how else to present this thing to you all. I really don't. If someone has to come to you in a burning house and beg you to leave the house because it's burning down so we can go build another one, do you think that I should lose my life while you all wait on thinking about getting out the house? What do you guys think? Because that's what's happening. None of us in this space has ever asked anyone to be anything but what they believe and what they know, but they leave room for growth and edification. That's it. That's it. That's it. But no one is meeting each other halfway. People are not even meeting each other enough to just want to say, how can we get involved? What is it that we need? Because eventually, this is something that should be happening all around the world, not just in Washington, D.C., not just in Texas. We are fighting so many different fronts. Even people who are misusing our imprint of history, i.e., the red, white, and blue, turning everything into a Pan-African discussion. I'm not saying that you don't have to talk about again, lineage piece. But what about us? What about what it is that we want to do and celebrate? When do we get a chance to show up for ourselves? And if we have to sit and lay it on the line in that way, because a lot of people want to be trolls than they actually want to be solution makers. Ointment, the healing to the thing that we're trying to do. It's exhausting. Don't be a troll to us, to our detriment. Be that thing that your family is requiring you in 2023 and beyond. And I think that's the only way I can lay it on you guys, pretty much.
Can I just say something about the Black Trolls news?
Yeah, go ahead.
I've been on Twitter 11 years, y'all. 11 years. And I've always worked. And I was incognito for a reason, because I always stayed focused. And I came out, and I told y'all this story, I came out of my anonymity so that people could see who I am, because everybody thought it was important based on this rally. And I did it. I don't have a problem with people knowing who I am. I don't even have a problem with my number, my email address, or my actual address, because I'm not worried about people. So it didn't bother me, except for the fact that now I get a lot of strange requests, But I'm going to say this about the Black Trolls. That has never happened in the history of Twitter since I've been on. I don't know if it's an Elon Musk thing and everybody can say what they want to say except for me, because I've been booted off already, and they flagged me and they shadow banned me and all that kind of stuff. But I will say this: when we were fighting and doing dim exit and we were saying all kind of stuff to people, the people that attacked us were white. We didn't have black folks attacking us. So this is a new phenomenon that you all are dealing with. These black trolls, the black trolls used to attack the white folks. Now we're eating each other. What is that about? I had one attack me today because I didn't agree. I don't care nothing about that woman who called herself a therapist, a counselor, whatever she was. losing all of her job and everything she worked so hard for to get on TikTok and talk bad about black men. I don't, hey, you put yourself in that position. I didn't troll her though, but when I voiced my opinion about it, which is purely on a professional level, because I was in the same profession. When I said something about that, I immediately got trolled by somebody in a blackface account. I don't know if these are blackface accounts because we did have some of that, but they were very easy to spot. It's not a lot of blackface accounts out here. These are actual black folks. They talk like black folks. They write like black folks. They tweet like black folks. And no good can come of it. It's not going to move the needle forward for black people at all, at all. It's actually doing the work of white supremacy and racism. They're just solidifying it for them. So I don't know if that's what they've been taught, and it's so much easier to attack black folks than it is to attack white supremacy. I don't know what the game is, but it's not a game that I play. So, I mean, this black troll phenomenon, this is new. And how y'all handle it is how y'all handle it. But this is a new thing. And I'm going to leave it there.
All right. Thank you, No Taxation. Let me give a shout out real quick to Clarence. Clarence, thank you for your contribution on PayPal. Like I say, we'll we'll get it worked out. Like I said, a year to plan this thing and move forward and stuff like that. We'll definitely go ahead and get it worked out and get it organized more so for next year. So that should be a goal for definitely a lot of us that definitely have your back. We'll definitely go ahead and do that. And I know some people are disappointed that they can't attend, but God willing, because you can never say what's going to happen in the future, or whatever. But it's a goal that everybody can set forward to go ahead and try to obtain next year, and just try to take the proper steps and trying to ensure that it'll happen and stuff. So definitely is something that we want to definitely go ahead and look into and just try to get everything down. Like I said, we can definitely ourselves definitely in terms of the funding and stuff like that. Whole space is solely for that, and try to get our people to come out and support those as much as possible as well too. So that's definitely something that we'll be looking forward to doing next year, and trying to come with a vengeance with it as well too. I am. What's up? Unmute your mic. How you doing tonight?
I'm well, brother. I'm tired. And I had a good day, but I'm very sad to hear this news. I'm sorry. Peace, power, and reparations to the family. No taxation, sister. Please don't give up. Please don't give up. The ancestors gave you a task, and you must follow through. You must follow through. Please don't give up. It's hard. I've put together some really big events, and I brought Dr. Umar to Charlotte a few years ago, and the week of the event, we had a venue that held like 500 people. The week of the event, I was stressed out because only 40 tickets had been sold. I was stressed. I was like, oh my gosh, I done paid all of this money for him to come, paid for the venue, and I got vendors coming and everything else. I was so stressed out. The day of the event it was about 52 tickets at that point, the day of the event. So me, my husband, and my girlfriend, and girlfriends got in the car, and listen, the show got to go on. It is what it is. And let me tell you something, sis. When I pulled up, the line was down the block in the middle of Charlotte. We had 600 people show up, and I could only do 500. And they were coming and coming and coming and coming. And I sat in the car, and I cried and cried and cried like a baby because, I was so worried and, for nothing, And it was all because people didn't want to buy the tickets online. They wanted to buy them in person. It was really weird to me, but okay. So, don't give up. Don't let anybody deter you or tell you you can't do it. That's them talking their life, speaking their life onto you. That's what you're capable of doing. I'm not capable. I'm capable of doing everything. So I'm devastated. I got a lot of phone calls to make. I have family coming from down here and in New York. We was pulling up deep. I got my fans today in my flag today in the mail. Literally, I just got home an hour ago. Open the box, like, yeah. I jump in here, and as I'm opening the box, I hear people talking about it. So I'm like, wait a minute, what in the world are they talking about? So it's all good. It's nothing but a phone call. Please make it happen for us next year. And it'd be my honor to assist you in any way that I possibly can to help you out because we jump into these things and not knowing. And I remember when I first started doing events, I had no clue what I was doing. Somebody helped me out. So I'm not saying I'm a professional, but I know a little something, and I'll be more than happy to extend that to you as well. So stay motivated, stay positive, stay focused, and this is not a deterrent. There ain't nobody stopping nothing. Nothing. All right. And like I said, if you need me, I'm here. Whatever I can do to help you, you got me. That much I promise. I'm saying in front of all of these people too. You got me. Whatever I can do to assist you in any way, beloved. And I land there.
Now, see, that's love. That is love. See, that's what I'm talking about. That's why I said the journey is still good for me because look what I'm getting. I'm getting people that really, really are about moving the needle forward for us in the country, not their region, not their community, because I've always said it. Even though I don't have nothing. If I go down to Mississippi and the people still ain't got clean water. You understand what I'm saying? See, those are the people that we really do fight for. We fight for the people that have less than us and can't fight for themselves. That's what we fight for. And thank you so much. I am, because I'm going to tell you something. Now, look, what if I had met her last year in 2022? Look where I could be. See? And so it brought me the people that I need to have for 2024. See? And so it was not a waste. It wasn't a waste of time for me. And it wasn't a waste of money. And I put some money in it. Y'all heard about me flying around the country and all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? On my dime, going back and forth to DC, on my dime, staying in hotels, on my dime. So, it was not a waste for me because I met some really, really worthwhile people. And that's what it's really all about. How we going to move the needle forward. And if
go on and lock that date in next year, ma'am. I need you to get on the phone with them people tomorrow.
Yeah. Well,
lock that date in for next year because the size is in the building. Lock it down early.
I talked to them. They gave me a date for me for them to just change it. I'm more than yours. And they really kind of happy because they knew stuff I didn't know. The Proud Boys came out with their thing saying they're going to attack every Juneteenth celebration there is around the country. They knew that. I didn't know it. They knew the White House was going to have something to pull something out the hat. I didn't know it. White House is doing what I want to do. The difference is they got money and they're not going to have no rubber band. I can tell you that. And they're not going to have to put no tarp down and they're going to let the kids have bubbles. So it's a lot of stuff they can do that they told me I couldn't do. But I don't already talk to the people, and they're happy I'm not doing anything at this particular time because what they can't say to me is what I have discovered in later on is that we'd be a target, and with the derision that we have, we wouldn't know where the target is coming from. It could come from one of us. See, I'm looking at the Proud Boys. I should have been looking at us. So, you live and you learn. It's a lesson for me about that. But, we're going to lock it down. We're going to lock it down for 2024. I got y'all.
All righty, all right. Anybody else want to say something, get something in tonight? Because we're not going to keep the space going too much longer. But if anybody wants to speak, then come on up here and get it in. Raise your hand if you're a speaker. If you're in the listener section, go ahead and request the microphone. But like I said, we're not going to go too much longer. I don't know if anybody wants to speak anything.
How much longer is our going for?
What up?
Hold on real quick.
Check 1 2 1 check 1 2. You can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you. Somebody said something. Who said something? I'm sorry.
It was Tiffany.
Tiffany, did you want to say something?
Is there something going on I should know about?
Such as?
Okay. I remember I was reading something on Black Twitter. It was a while ago. But when I was reading some news about Emmett Till, the black little boy who was whistling at a white woman, and it just threw me off because in my back of my mind, I'm thinking, okay, what was so wrong about that? What was so wrong about that? And this white woman, she basically got angry and frustrated at this black little boy.
Are you being serious right now?
You never heard of that story before, Tiffany?
Seriously, I'm being so serious.
Y'all just talked about black trolls.
Yeah, Newstoter. I'm gonna just say this, Newstoter. I really, again,
I hear you, sister.
I really want people to I want people to really respect our history and really respect what it is that people have contributed in the folks' lives who were taken, and not make it into a joke, because it's not a joke. Like, we're not even those type of people. I don't know what rooms folks are used to, but we're not those folks. We are not those people. Like, we do not sit around joking about folks who are unalived in history. We don't sit around turning it lightly. If you haven't done enough work and research to know what has happened with that, I'm not sure. I'm not even sure why it would be. I'm just saying, I'm not even sure why it would be of interest of you to come in that light when the topics on above say, huh?
Sweetie, okay, look. I don't want to go back and forth. This is my beliefs, and this is what I'm doing in my household and what I'm doing in my home. What you're doing in your home is completely...
Nobody asked you what you were doing in your
home. Okay, Tiffany, real quick. This is Emmett Till.
Hey, Tiffany, are you a trans? Are you a trans? God damn.
Real quick, Emmett Till is...
Make it quick so I can finish.
Okay. All right.
You sound like T.S. Giselle. You know that?
Yeah, Emmett Till is not only American history, Emmett Till is world history. So, I'm not exactly sure.
It's our history.
It's what?
It's our history.
Okay, but you act like you don't know anything about the situation.
Okay, but I'm letting you know I'm not trolling and I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm being a black woman who has knowledge and who has knowledge.
You ain't no damn black woman. You're a trans. You are not a black woman.
Yes, I am.
All right.
Right hand up to God, I am.
Okay.
Anyway,
Tiffany, real quick. Okay. Go ahead and ask your question.
But was Emmett Till wrong? Yeah. He should have stayed. My question is, why is everyone making Emmett Till out to be a victim?
Okay. So I know you're a troll.
That's why I said what I said.
Yeah, I know.
And the fact that you coming up here talking about something, you're a woman,
and you're sitting up here and you got a nerve.
You can't even tell me.
Real quick, you got the nerve to sit up here talking about you're a woman and you're disrespecting a kid that was murdered. Okay, I don't know how is this thing becoming off of unmute? Anyways, you're sitting up here talking about a kid that was murdered almost 60 some years ago, and you're making light of that, and yet you're sitting up here talking about you're a woman. So I mean, please get the hell up out of here. Get your ass up out of here. I don't got time for this tonight.
That was not a woman, bro. That's a trans, man.
I know it's a trans. I said sitting up here acting like you're a woman. I saw the profile. You sitting up here acting like you're a woman, and you sitting up here making light one of the biggest tragedies of the 20th century, like it's a joke or something. This is what I'm talking about. This is the dumb shit I'm talking about right here with Black Twitter. This is what I'm talking about right here. Man, don't bring your ass back up here.
And these are the people that you cannot entertain. You can't give them any light because they come here for derision. They come here specifically to cause chaos. They're agents and demons of chaos, and they don't do well in areas that are not chaotic. If there's a situation where no chaos is going on, they purposely come into that situation to create chaos because they thrive off that. That feeds them, not just their ego and their personality. It feeds them spiritually. And so we got to really get that. And these people are dead weight. You got to leave them behind. Let them go. They don't need they don't need a mic. They don't need a stage. They don't need anything to do what it is they do, especially in a space like this, where you have minds that are on the more intelligentsia side. Take that shit down.
Yeah, I just went ahead and blocked this fool here. I just went ahead and blocked him.
I was trying to let everyone in the space block the motherfucker first, bro.
No, don't worry about it. He can't come back in this space anymore since I'm the host anyway, so don't worry about it. He won't be coming back, bringing this dumb ass back in here. This is what we're talking about right here. Like, I mean, and this is the same person. This is the same person that sit up here and tell you that they're being discriminated against right here. The same person that'll sit up here and you got a bunch of dumbass people, and especially a bunch of dumbass Democrats, let's be honest, that'll sit up here and tell you that this person is more of a victim, a minority than you are, and all kind of dumb shit that they've been sitting up here for the past 50, 60 years pumping to black people, and black people buying it or whatever. Oh yeah, well they really have it harder than you got it because they're a double minority. They're trans and they're black. Dumb shit like this here. Excuse my language. I said we weren't gonna cuss, but this is what I'm talking about right here. This dummy that came up and making light of a situation like that. Like that's a joke. Mr. Engaging, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Oh, I just came up with the swords for truth for this, man. Yeah, this is unacceptable. Any black anything or anybody who is not even of the lineage should be held accountable when they make light of our history. As a knight, we're supposed to be as guardians of history, protectors of our history. And I don't like when people make light of such a tragic situation that we didn't get justice for. Anybody that makes light of that is sine non grata to me. I don't want you near me. I don't want you near my people, anything of that nature, because you only breed destruction. Destruction. We need to learn not to give space, airtime for our own destruction. And I'm just going to leave it off that because I don't like hearing things like that because I have a nephew. I have other children I work with in the community, That could be that could be my progeny, So I'm very, very upset, brother. It's not directed towards anybody. I get upset with that.
Yeah, rightfully so. That was an insult to everybody that came up that's up in this space as well, too, thinking that's a joke and sitting up here and just came up here for one reason and just sit up. And that's why I put black in front of Twitter as well, too, because we know Twitter's full of trolls, but you got a significant amount of black trolls on this app as well, too. Professor, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yeah, thank you, bro. Hey, that's exactly why I go hard on the Transformers, man. I mean, because let's be honest, I'm not saying all of them, but a lot of them don't say black first. They don't care about black American issues, even though they are black. As you see, they'll come up in here and they'll make light of our situation, but they'll still want to latch on to our issues to try to get what they want. So they not down with the issues concerning us. And that's what I see with a lot of the ones that are black, so-called black trans. I see this all the time. And this is why I go hard on. And I'm telling you, if you look around the spaces, this is what you see from most of them. Maybe the only one that might be somewhat different is the one Trans America Beautiful or something like that. That might be the most different one out of all of them. But all the ones I've seen, they don't go black first. They go trans issues first. And I hate to be like that towards them, but that's what I see with most of them. But they'll try to latch on to our issues to get what they want. And I'm going to land my plane right there.
All right. Thank you, Professor. Rella, go ahead and unmute your mic.
You know, the Southern Poverty Law Center put out a post where they were talking about the history of domestic terrorism violence predicated off of the fact that Black Americans have been the most targeted. And I think I tagged you in that video because I really wanted us to have that discussion. But when you look at the person who was talking, it was an Asian woman, and she was talking about us in brief, like a few seconds, then segues into other groups. Specifically starting to talk about how, you know, Jewish people are being targeted, how all these other different disenfranchised groups have been marginalized, while never going back to even addressing the topic of actually what she started out saying in regards to what had been going on with Black Americans. And the reason why I bring that up is basically what we see just now that just happened. Other people in their plight, they get to hop on our oppression and the degradation that happens to us and say, look at the Black American oppression. Look at the things that are happening. George Floyd, Castile, whoever name is the name of the names of the year, right? And they'll quickly start to forget all the others that have passed. And then the Southern Poverty Law Center says, you know, we've been around since 1990. And I thought to myself, well, shit has been happening to our people prior to 1990. So how is it that you're having this whole diatribe conversation about other people and you haven't even finished the work that has not even been addressed when it has come to us, when it has come to the very, at minimum, the people who are still alive to even see justice be served. But you got someone who comes on stage and they're from a quote-unquote marginalized group talking about Emmett Till. Why is everybody feeling like Emmett Till is the victim and all this other stuff and sounding very Black, unless that's someone using a voice, modulator. But people, we deal with this all the time. This app is not nowhere at all gonna ever address the harms that happen to us. Microaggressions, soft, both. I mean, we seem to get it all the time, which is why I think, and I'm saying this because I know it to be true, any discussions that we have, I believe, in regards to any planning or anything big, we got to do it on social. We have to do it on an app that respects our autonomy and that respects the fact that we deserve to be safe mentally. And we have to make sure we're providing that as well. I mean, we could get a little crazy, yes. but we have to also make sure we're providing that cover for ourselves and for each other. And social is going to be, I think, the place to have, I think, the bigger and broader discussions when we need to get work done, especially preparing for, next year in any capacity. And I'll leave it there.
All right. Thank you, Rella. Yeah, guys, I forgot to mention with the space tonight, but up in the Jumbotron, we have the YouTube channel up in there. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to it. We've been getting pretty good traction this week, and I got to give a shout out to the real Dana. She's been dropping that link in her community on YouTube and stuff. So that's helped get some followers and stuff this week, some subscribers as well this week. So please, definitely, if you already subscribed, it's up in the Jumbotron. I believe it's the third or the fourth, maybe the second. I don't know. It's up in okay. It's a third on the right hand side. Please go ahead and subscribe to it. For those that want to support us on Cash App, $Newstoter, $Newstoter. We have the Venmo and PayPal up in the Jumbotron as well too. I'm too tired tonight to go through the whole little Newstoter look. Is it the largest curator? So if you want to support tonight, it's appreciated. But $Newstoter, Newstoter. Let me go ahead and get to Mr. Engaging and then Trouble.
Yo, thank you, brother. I'm gonna be brief. I really do second Sister One Love Black 7 on this one. Real talk. I had an incident on my little J-Woo online community. Ain't no community like social and being around your own people. They try to flag my stuff, be culturally insensitive, hostile, you name it. Now, honestly, I'm just tired of this shit, family. We need a home, and we need a home that we can control, a domain that we can rule and govern with dignity and respect. I see it over at social. I see that at other couple of Negro Black entities as well. And I think we need to support them more than ever. That is our home. We need to protect our home and defend our home so we can keep having a home. Because if we don't support our home, then our ass is going to be out on them Twitter streets for real and really being homeless. So I just want to second what that sister's saying. Yo, I'm going to be up on social a little bit more on there, a little bit more, and start gravitating more because I'm good with all these other social interaction. The stuff that I'm trying to build, stuff that I'm trying to do, dominant society don't need to know. It's the Negro Black people that need to know. Peace. I'm out.
Appreciate that, Mr. Engaging. Shout out to Ms. Trigger. Ms. Trigger, thank you for your contribution on Cash App. And I got to get back on social because I'm not posting like I once was. And I haven't been posting on any social media site outside of Twitter. So I need to go ahead and start back posting as well too on there as well too. Facebook, I just posted something for the first time in months. I haven't posted on Instagram in months. So I mean, I really have not been outside of Twitter and Pinterest, which is we just pin stuff on there or whatever. I really haven't been posting on a lot of these social media sites. It's just been a lot that I've been doing lately. So I definitely got to go back and crank it back up as well to try to catch a second win and get things rolling once again. Trouble, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hey, so I just wanted to say real quick, the person came inside of the space, and one of the hashtags you have in the title is Black Twitter Trolls. And what I've been noticing in a lot of random spaces that a lot of times these people are starting to come inside the space and do their little troll thing. And they want you to say something about their transgenderness because they're actually recording a lot of times, from what I understand from some of the conversations I've been privy to. They're recording because they want to edge, they want to rile up the room to get you to say something out of pocket. And so we have to try as hard as it be. We like to get our roast on sometimes. It's not to give them what they want. They want us to get out of pocket so they can have that on their side as a talking point to say, see, we went into space and we was just trying to be a part of the group, and this is how the Black community does us, and blah 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 blah. When they know what they're doing, they know that they're trolling them. So let's kind of get to a point where we can stop giving them what they want. And that's easier said than done because y'all already know when somebody be aggravated, I kind of go left, right, quick. But I'm gonna practice what I preach. I just wanted to say that. I'm just saying. Also, I think
I can't help you with that one.
Yes, you can, Professor, because I meant to tell you, I knew you was going to come off your mic. And the first thing I thought was, Professor, please don't come up off your mic. I knew you was going to come off it and have something to say. Like, you know what? Stifle yourself. You know? But when Total was talking about doing spaces for next year to try to gain momentum for the reparations rally and whatnot, I'm thinking, you know, how they do on, they used to do back in the day with the telethon. We could probably try to do something like, you know, a space-a-thon, you know, to try to raise money. So I don't know, that just kind of came to mind when you was talking about it. We could try to do like a space-a-thon to generate cash flow for next year. So much love to everybody and shout out to y'all.
Yeah, you're right about that, and that's what I'm talking about. Something like that, and trying to do it, you know, at least, you know, if not, if we can't do it every week, at least a couple times out the month, at least to go ahead and do that. And I'm talking about months before the actual rally takes place as well, too. I mean, not just waiting 3, 4, 5 months beforehand, but you know, get it up to speed. So that's definitely a good thing. In Trouble, I agree with you. A lot of times these people come in these spaces and they want to go ahead and draw a reaction out of people and this and that. But any grace that this person would have had, they can sit up here and they can take that. They can go ahead and say, well, this person called me this or called me that. When you start invoking the name of Emmett Till and sitting up there making light of that, you'll get no sympathy from any black person in this country. So whatever happens to you just happens to you. So you sitting up here making light of that, and you one of the biggest beneficiaries of this kid dying. This kid death sparked the damn civil rights movement and all of the damn rights and stuff that the little bit of rights that black people got in this country. You can now sit up here as a man and put on a damn dress, be born a boy, and say that you a girl. And you owe that all to the actual plight of people that came 50, 60 years before your dumb ass came. So you can sit up here and put on a dress, and you can sit up here and cut your Johnson in half and make a vagina out and all this other dumb stuff simply because of black people, what they went through back in those times. You can sit up here and make light of it and sit up here and think that you're a damn girl or a woman. But you come around real men, you know, I'm respectful. When the trans come up in this space, you know, I'm respectful to them. Ray and them could tell you that, DJ, when we used to have TS and then we try to be as respectful as possible. When you start sitting up here making light of a situation, you know, that was a tragedy that even white people don't like to mention because they know how jacked up it was. When you sitting up here making light of it and you benefit from it, you benefit from the civil rights movement, something that was for black people. Let me tell you something. Handicaps benefited from that. Gay people benefited from them. White women benefited from them. Latinos, Asians, everybody in the damn world benefited from them. So you can sit up here and make light of that situation. Nah, hell nah. So you can record a space or whatever and tell whatever you want to tell. I don't give a damn, and I don't care if Twitter blocks us either. Straight up. You're not gonna sit up here and disrespect somebody that you're living off of them. You're living off of their legacy. I mean, you haven't done anything in your whole life except sit up here and be confused and not know what the hell you're talking about. Oh, please. That Wilson trying to come up. Let Wilson come up here. Sitting up here and come up in the space for nothing other than that's what I'm talking about with Twitter trolls. And this is just one of many of them. On this app, you have millions of trolls on here. You have millions of trolls on this app. Don't let anybody, and I'm talking about black and white, you got millions of trolls that sit up here, have no life, have no existence, nothing in the real world. The whole world revolves around sitting in front of either a phone or a laptop or a computer, and that's the only pleasure and the only joy they have in life. A nobody. If they had never been born, it wouldn't mean anything to the human race. A complete loser on every facet imaginable. Wilson, go ahead and unmute your mic.
I wanted to follow up with what you're saying, and yet they want us to sit back and listen to them and empathize with their plight. It's like nobody gives a goddamn. Nobody gives a damn. I mean, you know, to come here, that's a sacred. Emmett Till is sacred. I mean, you know, you come up here with a picture of your behind spread out, bent over, you know, and you want us to sit here and listen to you talk about your, you know, struggle. It's like, that's why, and it is a fact, trans rights is not civil rights. Trans rights is not Juneteenth. You're on your own. And good luck with this right-wing Supreme Court justice, because as Supreme Court Justice Alito said at a speech as a private party in Europe, just after, I think it was about 2 years ago, their plan was to come after Roe versus Wade. They succeeded. And the next is the LGBTQ rights. And they'll likely succeed. And then where are they? Have a good night, everybody.
Oh yeah, because the blowback is already coming. You see with some of these corporate corporations and stuff starting to blow back on some of this stuff right here. I know a lot of people, especially in the Democratic Party, are pretty concerned about that. Michelle Obama and them and the rest of them. But yeah, as more conservative as that Supreme Court gets, you definitely got to watch out. So I'm in agreement with you on that, Wilson.
Newstoter, Justice Alito was at a private party in Europe. He said what the goals were, and he put it in the order. And Roe versus Wade was the first one. LGBTQ is the next one, and they will succeed. Because that Supreme Court justice, they're going nowhere. And truth be told, there's a lot of Democrats in this country that's uncomfortable with all of this nonsense.
Oh yeah, and most of them black, Wilson. They just won't say it because they don't want to jack the party up. But a lot of black ones that uncomfortable with it themselves, but they don't want to rock the boat.
Absolutely, I have people that I know here that are Democrats that are not black that are uncomfortable with it. And let me tell you something. Look, she's a problem, but I give her respect because when Candace Owen brought it out on her podcast. She's the one who started this, making everybody aware that when you go through Target, what you'll be seeing in the children's section, she was right. $9 billion loss in 1 week. Again, $9 billion in 1 week. And let me tell you about those people. They will, for the fuck of it, say, let's just see if we can bring them down to their knees by continuing this ban for the next couple of weeks. Okay, you can't mess with this. And this whole every commercial now, you got to see, same-sex kissing. Every show now, you got to have to see this old nonsense. And then every HIV pharmaceutical commercial.
Every last one of them.
Black man kissing up on some black man or
yes.
Weirdo looking freakazoid, black skin looking crazy about some old HIV medication, as if black people are the only ones that have HIV. So let me tell you, I am willing to sacrifice a lot, and this may be controversial. I don't care. This is my own opinion. If it turns out that it's going to be Trump or DeSantis or anybody who is all anti all that and immigration too, because reparations is very important. But as we see this right now, if we allow this immigration to bleed out in this country, there will be no reparations. I have to vote to quell this shit because it's going to envelop and it's going to eat black people inside out. Trust and believe. I had an argument with a very good friend of mine last night, and I hung up the phone on her. She called me back because I couldn't take it anymore, and I realized how triggered I am with all this. I didn't realize the depth at which I'm triggered until the conversation. And I told her, the whole attitude, well, if you don't vote Democrat, the Republican, I don't give a fuck. Let me tell you something. We're going to survive then. In fact, we were better off in some ways with Trump. We're not better off with this fool in office. So all of that, we need to stop it. We cannot have this. So, Obama gave us this LGBTQ, and turn that shit and throw it in the trash. And they're going to do it. Thank you. Have a good night.
All right, Wilson. Thank you. Dana, I see you came up in the space. What's up with you? Shout out to you, Dana. But yeah, every commercial, and it's not only the commercials too. If you got kids and they got it on the cartoons as well too, they're gonna make sure that you see it. They're gonna throw it in your face as much as possible. Like it was programs that I had to stop my kids from watching and stuff, and they didn't understand. Like, well, why didn't they? Why can't? It's only one person on there like that. Yeah, I'm not sure you should have same-sex characters on cartoons and stuff. So no, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna cut that out right here. We're not doing it like that here. So
You know what, Newstoter, and I always keep asking, like, you know, if transgender or the LGBTQAI community has a position that that they utilize, why is it that they always take the position of, well, we got to do this for the children? Because aren't you grown people? Like, I thought you were talking about your logical position in that community as what you know it is. Because kids wouldn't have that stance. They wouldn't have that stance if it wasn't for white women and white people in that community. Because even the black trans people or the black LGBTQAI people don't even see the benefits of anything that the dominant society gets.
Did you see the front cover of Glamour magazine?
I thought you. No.
no.
What's on it?
Lord have mercy. It is the front cover with a pregnant man.
Oh, that's what that was. It was a white woman that's now a man, a trans man.
Yeah. She got a strong looking face. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what I'm talking about. You're seeing pictures of some of you in the room saw postings of these trans women in the bed with a baby. Talk about they breastfeed this baby, but they're not producing enough milk to let. I'm like, you ain't producing no milk, let alone not enough. You ain't producing shit because you're not a woman, goddamn it. And whoever those people are, they need to call Child Protective Services on them. You know, it's sick. This is ill. This is sick. This is sick. This is sick.
It defies logic that your children have to be a particular age for most things in this country, except for when it comes to that one particular thing right there. It defies logic that on one hand you're saying parents should have the right to decide what their children are learning in school when it comes to history. But on the other hand, children should be able to go to the doctors and say, I want this type of surgery, or it's okay for my child to have A, B, and C. It really just defies logic. But when have we known these motherfuckers to ever be logical? So it's woo.
Yeah, I was told by some white women that I'm ignorant. I'm ignorant to the space of trans women being women as a woman. And I said, well, wouldn't that mean that you're telling me as a woman that somehow I don't coexist or I don't exist? And they were like, no. I said, because if trans women are women, what am I? And the guy who was, I don't know if he was a trans man or not, but the two white women were like, well, you're a woman. I said, well, then why is it that my experience and what I've grown into be, my existence in life is being truncated by people who have a separate experience in life, and how they choose to show up gets to be, the end all be all because they feel marginalized.
I don't want to sound raw, but if you ain't bleeding between your goddamn legs, you can't tell me shit about.
Oh no! Oh, you ain't heard? They use tomato sauce. They use frozen tomato sauce now, and you like? No, I'm not lying. I am not lying. I am not, Professor. I'm not lying. I'm not lying to you. When I saw that shit, I said, hold on. You gotta use frozen tomato sauce, or whatever, food coloring, whatever these things are, to shove up there to tell somebody that you're on your cycle, but you can't tell me when the last time you had a pap smear or went to have your annual checkup. You better get the fuck out of here. Excuse me. I'm sorry, Newstoter. I'm sorry.
Something. I wish it was that, if it was only that simple for me, but I just want to go back here and just go get a can of tomato sauce. If it was that simple.
No, but they're frozen, and they can order these things. I'm like, I'm not sitting here ordering my damn cycle every month. Hell, I'm trying to send it back.
Can you post that picture? I wanted to see that front cover of that Glamour magazine. Wait till you see this shit.
I don't want to see it. I really, honestly, because it's like we always get pulled into this. Why? Why? When they can't even be honest about what it is. They can't be honest.
As in Tweet says, I think that there's I'm a black gay man, but I have a problem.
Say true words.
Hey, I have a problem. It's my pinned tweet on my profile. I'm noticing more and more that the most aggressive stances are coming from white trans women who used to be white men, and they're not used to being silenced. And it's one of the things that I leveled into to understand that a lot of this, I mean, I notice where the corporations, what face they're putting out there, it's a white face. It's money, it's palatability, and so on and so forth. I'm not going to get into what they feel. I'm not going to get into any of that. But I am going to get into the fact that what happened to, I'm a black gay man, but I'm going to say this. What happened to black trans people being murdered? White trans women, whatever they would like to be called, I should say whatever they like to be called women, I'm going to leave it there. They don't have the lift to pick up blackness. They don't have that lift. They are continuing to be, in my opinion, white men who center themselves. Because I'm not saying they don't exist. I'm not finding on a national platform when I watch and I hear black trans individuals who are leveraging in because they understand black women are so on the back of the bus that they're not about to take their seat. White men have never respected women. So it only makes sense that the face of the aggressiveness is a white trans person. And it's just, nobody wants to talk about that.
But true words, but they also have the support in, like they've always had, whether they're hetero or homosexual. I heard some trans are actual hetero too. But anyway, they also have the support of white women. So again, nothing has changed. The only difference that has changed is they now are showing up as, and yet when we say, hey, sorry, you can't be called women if we're women because you're a trans woman, but then you get mad because you want to have an argument about what a woman is, and then start saying, talking about, well, it's gender, it's not sexuality, it's this, that, and third, when we literally are speaking in layman's terms.
Right, and I posted also something, I can't find it, I've had glasses of wine, it's been a day, but L is a lesbian. If I go LGBT, L, lesbian, attracted to women. G, gay, attracted to men. B, bisexual, attracted to men and women. T is how you identify. You're a trans individual, and that's your identity, not your sexuality. And there has been some movement to remove the T from the LGBT community because it's an identity. It's no different if, respectfully, I say this, in a glass of wine or two in, if I were identified as a disabled individual, it's an identity. It's an identity where if I placate and I put that card down all the time, this is my identity, okay, that's fine, that's your identity, but playing in the same area can get a little tricky because, as you just said, you can, how do you, I'm not interested in your sexuality. It's your identity. And I think that becomes a problem. I'm not a woman, but I think that becomes a problem. And I've read enough about it, and I'm a behaviorist. I think that becomes a problem when women, particularly Black women, have not been assigned a role or a position in our greater culture where you just get to come up. And again, as I said, my pinned tweet, it's there because I do mean that. You're willing to just ignore women who have been present way before you transition. I know that you would like to identify as a woman, and I understand that. However, my story is you are going to have to wait in this long queue of a lot of things that women still are queuing up for, and just bogarting your way through and sitting down and saying, okay, now I'm a woman. That's an identity versus a whole lot of other things that you have just raised your hand for in the last 5 years or 3 years. I know that bristles some people, but I do have a problem with that. I have sisters. I have issues around medical care. I have a lot of questions in that regard because you're dealing with an identity that you, quote, gave yourself. But these individuals are dealing with an identity that society they have been dealing with since birth. Respectfully, I do say all of that. And I would like for them to have a much more level-headed seat at the table versus coming in and just, if I make myself clear about that. I'm not going to say you're not at the table. I can't say that. I won't be that person. But I do think positioning oneself so adamantly sometimes that I hear can be problematic. And I'll just land there because I'm folding laundry and I've lost stock.
True word, I want to say something to what you're saying, and this is what I feel about these white men who pretend to be women. They hate women, but they dress as women. And I think a lot of this is behind money. They are going to focus on infringing on women's hard-earned rights. And they are going to abuse it. They may even try to attempt to change it or break it down. Where I'm concerned is that, like with most anything in this country, Black women are always taking a back seat. And I do believe that if white trans women are able to hijack women's hard-earned rights, that Black women will take a back seat to them. And I'm telling you, I really do believe so.
I can't disavow, what you're saying because that's what you're saying. And I definitely hear that part because I just found it very curious that for me, my story, that Bud Light decided to put Dylan, I don't know the name, correctly. And I thought, wow, all this diversity. You didn't put a Black gay man on your can. You didn't put a Black woman on your can. You didn't put, I don't know, whoever on your can. You went and put whiteness. You put whiteness on your can.
What about a Black man on the can? They drink more Bud than probably Black women and gays. What about a Black man?
Right. Yeah. All of that. And I was really like, damn, y'all are just invested in whiteness over everything. You could have put a Black gay man for all I give a damn. But I just thought, wow. And I hear your point, Wells. I'm sorry, I'm just seeing Well-Seen Fan Club. Because I just thought, there's a lot of faces out here right now. And I didn't know who this Dylan person was. And I don't think a lot of people knew this. That's just me. But I just thought, that disappointed me. Not because of that choice, but because of not the other choices. And I see, shitload of hands up. So I'm going to be quiet.
Oh yeah. Let me go ahead and get to I'm gonna go OG love and sexual. We'll get to you two relics. So go ahead, OG.
Yeah, okay. Thanks, Newstoter. Peace, power, reparations to the room. Shout out to you guys, Newstoter and co-hosts, DJ, Professor, you guys. Shout out to everybody in the room.
Shout out to you, OG.
I appreciate it, guys. Shout out to you, OG. Been a little absent lately. You know, took a little bit of a break, but I'm getting kind of. I don't want to say I'm getting confused. When I say I'm getting confused, that's just going to be my humility, point of contact. I'm not really getting confused because I think some of the shit is really disgusting, but, for lack of a better attitude, I just say I'm getting confused. But anyway, are we trying to coexist somehow with made-up terms as we go? I mean, because, if we follow through with all the terms now and, put the correct alphabet in, and then so what alphabets are we going to have next year or year after? I mean, are we going to have the whole fucking alphabet later? Are we going to have to, repeat the alphabet as grown people all the way through? You know how we teach our kids to do the alphabet? We take them all the way through. Is that what we're going to have to do? We're going to have to name a letter for every fucking letter of the alphabet. 26 of them, wasn't it?
Try not to drop too many F-bombs, OG.
Right.
I'm trying, but it's like I said, my point of humility.
Right, and to your point, if I may break in.
No, you can't break in yet. I'm not through.
Yeah, let him go ahead, True.
So, the thing is, I experienced this thing, this transgender thing. I worked with a guy. This has been 25 years ago. I worked with a guy that had the operation, and we went through those steps and all. He, changing at work, and then they decided that we had to call him a name, a certain name, for his transition, and they even threatened to reprimand us if we didn't call him by this new name, okay? But let me tell you where they had a problem. He went through the procedure and had it done, came back to work. Yeah, he came back to work. And they had no problem with everything until he went to use the women's bathroom. When he went to use the women's bathroom, they went ape shit. So, I mean, what is it we have in here? We got scientists, doctors that are coming up with all these combination of haploids and, gametes and, all this phenotype stuff that's going on in biology. And so we got all these combinations to determine whether you're a male or a female. Because last I checked, that's all there is. I think that when God created, made everything in whatever likeness, or male and female, and then whatever other combination, such as the seahorse, and any of those others that the males can deliver offspring, then that's what it is. But it's still a combination that we are set with as far as being humans. And even though we add these letters to our monikers, we add these letters to whatever we call ourselves, we don't add attachments to our bodies, okay, and call it natural. And so when you got to try this hard, what's the point? When you got to try so hard, what is the point? Other than this civil rights activity, other than the civil rights movement, to remove slavery and all,
what's the point as far as trying to go against the grain? I really want to know what's the point. And that's, I'm a land, because I'm really sounding stupid even trying to address this shit, but, sorry.
All right. Hey, true words, real quick, because we got hands up, so you got to go, I'll give you a minute, then we got to get to the hands.
I'll be really fast, and you're absolutely right. One of the biggest things I've been saying in the Black community for myself, because I'm Black, and everything else is way after, I won't get mired into a culture war. I won't, because we got a class war. We got shit to do, and right now, for me, that's me. Where there's a whole lot of things and a lot of considerations. I tell people, we as Black individuals, my granddaddy used to say, I can handle a whole lot of shit as long as at my job, as long as I don't have a whip on my back, because I got to work and I got to keep on doing. And social, systems continue to change. I can handle that, because I've handled way worse at 55 years old. And I move in that way as a Black gay man. And I think sometimes there's a lot of culture going on that even me, a member of that community, that I have moved aside from. I can be respectful in that moment. I'm never disrespectful. But I have moved on, and I've said, I have other things that I need to do. I can carry that torch, but I can also set a fire where I need to set a fire. I can acknowledge it, but I don't have much. I don't have much conversation, even though as I'm part of the community, because I honestly don't interact with it other than news. I know some trans people, but I don't interact with it, and I can respect it, but I don't interact with it, and I don't let it derail me. I can be positive, I can be respectful, but I also need to know my place and how it lines up in my life about things respectfully, and that's all I'll say.
Okay.
The main thing was talking
OG. I'm gonna let you go real quick because we got some hands. We're gonna be closing the space out in a little bit.
But no, I'm just more so frustrated about us trying to include the kids and everything coming down towards the kids, and now we're trying to mutilate them and all at a certain age to try to stop whatever inevitabilities that they had coming in their life, and I don't see it. I don't see it. That extremeness of that it's just ludicrous.
All right, real quick, y'all, and guys, we're gonna be closing the space out because we've been going since 8:00. So I'm gonna let the final three speakers, Love I Am, Sexual, and Rella. I'm gonna keep it to about 3 minutes per person. That's it. If you go over 3 minutes, I'm gonna hit the mute button like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and let you know we're going to the next person because we're going to be getting ready to close this space out. I actually didn't intend for it to go this long, but we're going to go ahead to Love I Am. It's 11:07. I say we'll just start at 11:08. Go ahead, Love I Am. We're going to be, like I said, we're going to be closing this out in a second.
Is it okay if I continue to speak with the trans thing, or did you want me to address the title?
You can address, it doesn't matter, whatever you want to speak on.
Oh, yeah. So I agree with Wellsink fan club when she was saying that if they continue in the direction that they're going, the white trans men, then they would ultimately displace Black women. And I actually, that's the reason why I could not support the trans community in the way of being an advocate, because Black women in this country, we don't have autonomy over our brand of femininity. And so you can be fired for calling a trans person a man, but you won't be fired for telling a Black woman that she's masculine or calling her a man because of her features or mannerisms. So our interests are not aligned. And I actually think that the Black trans community is allowing white people to use them. Because I often hear this argument about how trans has always existed all throughout history. And even if that was the case, Black people, we don't have a history of creating these labels and then trying to infringe upon one another's being. And so when you allow them to let you as the original human, you melanated human, even if you're a you melanated trans person, you still are part of the original human. So if you allow them to leverage your position as the original human to make that disingenuous argument about how they've always been around, you as a melanated human have always been around, but this LGBTQI stuff is new. And so with you allowing them to occupy your position as the original human who has always been around, to make the argument trans has always been around, it allows them to escape any accountability for the labeling and the infringing upon other people's rights and space that they are doing. And I think that Black trans people should further consider that. And they should further consider that Black women don't have that level of autonomy over our brand of womanhood. And so stop expecting us to advocate or even if there's no expectation that we're advocates, there is an expectation that we should somehow understand what you're experiencing without them having that understanding of what we experience as Black women.
All right, thank you, love.
What you eating over there, love?
Let me.
Right, I heard it too.
Let me go.
I'm chewing on a water bottle cap, and I have a bad habit of doing that.
Okay. Let me get to sexual love. Sexual love. Go ahead, unmute your mic.
Hey, you should make water bottle cap chips. There you go. See?
It's a lot I could say, and since we're down to 3 minutes, I'm going to try to sum up my thoughts to something very simple to the whole object of this conversation. Host, if you will, follow me because I like this kind of conversation when I do come into spaces. I want to say that what the problem to me, and something that I've seen for years, is instead of us as a Black community binding together, we've always never really had a seat at the table, even when it came down to forming of the LGBTQI, LMNOP, whatever you call it, community. Because it took for us to realize that white people were getting better medication in order for us to even open our mouths or make a protest or do anything about it, not understanding. So I think, and I've said several times in other spaces, even some that I've hosted, when are we going to stop talking and let's get a committee together and let's do something about this? We've always been overlooked. When it comes down to the transgender situation, and I was listening to what the young love was saying before me. When it comes down to the transgender community, now I cannot honestly say that there have been trans throughout history. I know that cross-dressing throughout history, so now all of a sudden they want to bogart to the front of the line to get certain rights that even us as African Americans do not have. And even our freedom is still being amended into the Constitution. It is not actually a part. So we are dwelling on certain things, but I feel like there are certain things that are a whole lot more important. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sexual love. Rella, go ahead, and I'm gonna let you go ahead and get a couple minutes in, and then we're gonna close it out for the night.
Thank you, Newstoter. Again, DJ, I hope you have another space. I'm not sure how you feeling tonight, but I will say that we tend to lean back on we've never had the seat at the table. We actually have had several seats. The people who were all in office historically were murdered. They were unalived, out of office, in representation and they were all Republicans. So I think that there is another piece of history that also has to be told. And then every time we do build something, it is destroyed sometimes from within, and then a lot more times than not from external forces, right? The other piece of it is that the particular communities that tend to lean on, I think, and I said this earlier, priding themselves on propping themselves up, they utilize laws, things that were passed and fought for off of the backs of leaders, even to the point where they even now are, like I said, I had to go off on this, I think it was a white trans man, and say to her that, or him, that you cannot use gay leaders who were part of the civil rights movement as your weapon of choice to weaponize in a conversation for someone else and make this an onus of yours because you just now learning about them today. Because they were not weaponizing their sexuality over the rights of all Black people during the civil rights movement. So you tell me about Baynard, you tell me about all the other Black people who were part of the LGBT community that you recognize today. That term was not a term during the civil rights movement. So now you have white people, whether they are a part of the LGBT community or they are hetero white people, utilizing, again, words and terms and things that were meant for our community, and then degenerate, like turning it into the argument to their points matter over us, even so much so that they become the benefactors and they leave us out in the cold. And the only time Black trans, like Love was saying, or not even just Black trans, even other people in the community fail to even pick up that notion that, oh, we are being prodded out as the tokens because they need cover. So again, it's the same thing. It happens amongst women. It happens amongst men. And all the people do is they use us for cover. That's it. That's it. Depending on whatever the interest is that they're trying to argue, they use us as cover. If you are Republican or conservative, and you can speak ill will towards liberalism and you're Black, they're going to use you for cover. If you're a Democrat and you are for liberalism and you don't like the conservatives, they're going to use you for cover. If you are a woman and you are speaking for women's rights, they're going to use Black women for cover. They don't care whether or not you get the benefit because it's never meant for you. It was never meant for us, period. That's the reason why I have an issue with the other groups who call themselves marginalized, because they, again, allow the house to be robbed. They allow the house to be robbed because they believe amongst ourselves somehow we don't recognize them, that we somehow want harm to come to them. That's never been a thing in our community, first of all. Things do happen, yes, to women and men and people who subscribe to other sexualities or identities, but that is not an overall arching discussion that we are saying we want harm to come to our own community of people. But we're being used like freaking cattle. And I'll end there.
All right. Thank you, Rella. Professor, you want to go ahead and get something in real quick before we close the space out? You there, Professor?
Toter, I just want to say, last night you said you wasn't gonna let nobody veer off subject, and you said you was gonna whoop some ass if they did. I'm just saying, I just remind you of what you said.
Girl, you a snitch.
Yeah, but when Buddy came in here talking about Emmett Till and stuff like that, that really struck a nerve right there tonight.
Trouble be trying to cause trouble.
Yeah, he really. He really struck a nerve tonight talking about Emmett Till like that. After you coming up here acting like you can actually add to the conversation, and then you come in here and you start saying stupid stuff. I really, really didn't appreciate that tonight, to be honest. But you're right, Trouble. This tonight we did get off the subject, but we was talking about reparations and everything else, and then when this person fit what the title said too, Black Twitter trolls as well too. So he came in here and he fit it exactly into the actual topic tonight as well too. So go ahead, Professor, you got it.
And I hate to say this, y'all. If you notice, with some of these trans, they seem to be our worst trolls. I don't know if y'all have noticed it, but they are. And it just makes me wonder what makes them feel like they have the right to do that, to come up in our spaces to be trolled. But I have noticed that because look at T.S. Giselle. See, that's like one of the main ones right there. And so just something to think about, family. And DJ, the question that everybody's asking, man, you know what everybody's asking. I don't have to ask it. You know what everybody asks.
Is DJ there? DJ, he may not be there himself.
I think he's setting up another space. That's why he's quiet right now.
Yeah, he
might be setting it up for
because
What's good, y'all? DJ in the motherfucking building. Excuse me, Rich. You know what I'm saying? How y'all doing tonight? Newstoter, you already know. What's going on? Damn, don't get quiet now. Hello, fellas. You know what I'm saying?
You setting up another space?
How you doing?
Yeah, I'm letting you get it in real quick. You setting up another? They want to know if you setting up a space for the night.
Like Scooby, you know what I mean?
Okay. Well, on that note, everybody, once again, thank you for coming to the Newstoter space. We had.
Hold on. Oh, my bad. I know you're trying to get out of here, but I'll just leave it as this. Reparations2023.com. We still popping. It ain't over because I done cashed in my Trump card, so we about to see what's popping this week. Don't cancel a goddamn thing. You know what I'm saying?
That's what's up. Well, DJ finna start another space up, guys. So we will see you guys probably Monday night, more than likely. So everybody have a good weekend. For those we don't hear from, for those that's coming over to the space, see you over there. So everybody be good and have a good night, and we'll see you guys then.